on your behalf. Coming up is the news at 6 with Fred Kuku Smith.
Tripping off the joy I bring. I wish that we can hold hands. Listen instead of dissing lessons from a grown man. And I wish the families that lack but got love get some stacks. Brand new shack in a lack. Let's own dubs. And I wish we could keep achieving wonders. See the vision of the world through the eyes of Stevie Wonder. You feel me? And I hope all the kids eat. And don't nobody in my family see 6 feet. You dig? I hope the mother stand strong. You can make it whether you with them or your man's gone. And I wish I could give every Sally some commissary. And the popo bring the heat on the priest like they did on Kelly. And I wish that DOC could scream again. And bullets could reverse and Pac and Biggie breathe again. Then one day they could speak again. I wish that we only saw good news every time we look at CNN. I wish we could never get the blues. Wish I could bring back the people that died at E2. I wish that we could walk a path, stay doing the right thing. Hustle hard so the kids maintain up in the game.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away. And be hopeful, hopeful. And he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hope.
Wish love wasn't so apocalyptic. I try to spread my message to the world the best way that I can give it. We can make it.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and Hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 and in all 16 regions of Ghana via our partner stations. We're also live on myjoyonline.com, X Spaces and YouTube. Coming up, opposition MPP begins efforts to overturn the conviction of its Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entry-Boisiako as he spent his first night in prison. We have details as the party demands investigations into alleged galamsey involving NDC members.
What happened to the NDC MP for our win? Why has the nation not witnessed the same level of urgency and determinations in those matters? Justice cannot be selective.
The Media Coalition Against Galamsey is meanwhile calling for more prosecutions after Chairman Wontumi's 20-year jail term for purposely facilitating illegal mining.
But we're also asking the Attorney General and then also the IGP the issues around prosecution of politically exposed persons.
In business, City comes under renewed pressure as demand outstrips supply over the past 2 weeks. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
Also, Ghana Ace Commission raises alarm over rising HIV infections among young people, warning the trend could derail Ghana's 2030 epidemic control target. And later, President Mahama assures Dagon Traditional Council of full state support ahead of the final funeral rites for Yana Abukari II. These and more with me, Fred Smith. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Let's head in now, and the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Entry-Boisiako, has spent his first night in jail after being sentenced to 20 years imprisonment over the Samra Boy illegal mining case. The Accra High Court convicted him on all 6 counts, including unlawfully assigning mineral rights and facilitating unlicensed mining operations, and also imposed 120,000 Ghana cedi fine with a 3-year jail term in default of payment. The party is expected to today prepare to challenge the conviction at the Court of Appeal. General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong Kojo, insists Chairman Wontumi is innocent and that the verdict will be overturned.
Let me assure all members of the New Patriotic Party and the good people of Ghana that Chairman Wontumi is not alone. There is no justification for the judgment since the judge obviously ignored clear evidence exonerating Wontumi. The New Patriotic Party stands firmly with him. Our legal team has already commenced the necessary steps to challenge his judgment through the appellate process. The NPP considers Wontumi a political prisoner.
He also argues that the conviction should not divert attention from petitions and allegations against some NDC officials accused of engaging in illegal mining.
What has become of the petition submitted to Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, seeking an investigation into allegations concerning Mr. Joseph Yamin, the NDC national organizer, and Abanga Yakubu, vice chairman of the NDC? What has happened to Honorable Mohamed Yakubu? What happened to the NDC MP for our win? Why has the nation not witnessed the same level of urgency determinations in those matters. Justice cannot be selective.
And NPP General Secretary there, Justin Frimpong Kojo, speaking. The Media Coalition Against Galamsey says the 20-year prison sentence handed to NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchiboisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, must be followed by the prosecution of all persons implicated in illegal mining, regardless of their political affiliation. Speaking on Newsnight, convener of the coalition, Ken Ashigbe, said the fight against Galamsey should not focus only on their Akoto mining case, but must also target politically exposed persons and financiers behind the illegal trade, irrespective of the political affiliation.
You are not seeing any kingpins being involved in any of these arrests that have been made. You are not seeing dealing with these kingpins. And our call is beyond what the Minister of Lands will do what he has to do. But there are several elements in this particular fight. And so when you hear his call to others to also do what they have to do, we as a coalition are responding to the call that he's done. But we're also asking the Attorney General and then also the IGP, the issues around prosecution of politically exposed persons.
On to other stories now, and the Ghana AIDS Commission is warning that unless efforts to curb new HIV infections among the youth are intensified, the country is likely to miss its 2030 epidemic control target. According to the Commission, low condom use and persistent stigma have pushed Ghana's annual new HIV infections to nearly 14,000, bringing the total number of people living with the virus to more than 337,000. Speaking to Joy News, the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Prosper Akangbong, insisted that the country remains on track to achieving the epidemic control target set by the UN AIDS.
We are bending the curve towards epidemic control. That's the 95, 95, 95. Yes, we are on track, but the workload is still huge for us to get to the epidemic control, especially if we don't look curiously at where the new infections are taking place, especially the young population group. If you take the age group 15 to 24 years, they alone in this index statistics account for 27.3% of the new infections. This is our future workforce. This is the people who are going to be our leaders in future. If we don't take time and bend the curve rapidly and downwards in this age population group, we are unlikely to be able to meet the epidemic targets we're talking about.
On to other stories, and President John Mahama has assured the Dagbon Traditional Council the appropriate state courtesies and support will be provided as preparations continue for the final funeral rites of the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abukari II, speaking during a visit to the Jubilee House to formally inform President Mahama of the passing of the respected traditional ruler. The leader of the delegation, the chief of Nantong Na Yab Nantong Na Mahamadu, thanked President Mahama for his support in facilitating the king's medical evacuation and the subsequent repatriation of his remains. Maxwell Agbagba reports.
The overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abukari II, passed away at the age of 87 after a 7-year reign. During his reign, Yana Abukari II earned widespread respect for promoting peace, reconciliation, and unity across Dagbon. A delegation from the Dagbon Traditional Council, led by the chief of Nantong, Nayab Nantong Na Mahmudu V, met President John Mahama to brief him on the funeral arrangements and the series of activities planned following the king's passing. The delegation also expressed gratitude to President Mahama for facilitating the king's medical evacuation and the subsequent repatriation of his remains.
We also wish to acknowledge the role you played when His Majesty's condition worsened and his health and vitality were running thin. Your Excellency did not hesitate. You ensured that our king, who lived with dignity, returned home with dignity.
In response, President Mahama assured the Dagbon Traditional Council that government would extend the appropriate state courtesies and support as preparations continue for the final funeral rites of the late Yana Abukari II.
We did everything humanly possible to preserve his life, but Allah, the Master of the universe, knows best. I'm positive that he has laid the foundation for a smooth succession in Dagbon.
And President Mahama ending that report by Maxwell Akpakpa. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu says government's free sanitary pad initiative has reduced period poverty among school girls and improved their retention in school. According to him, there is growing evidence that the intervention is helping more girls stay in the classroom. Taking a stand at the government's accountability series in Accra, he pledged government's commitment to sustaining the program through another round of sanitary pad distribution this year.
Evidence-wise, we do have practical evidence of young female girls who dropped out of school because of their inability, or call it their hygiene poverty, or poverty related to the acquisition of the sanitary pads. We have distributed sanitary pads, 12.2 million sanitary pads across the country, benefiting 2.5 million female students across the country.
And you heard the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu ending the news at 6 with me, Fred Smith. Up next will be business on the Super Morning Show.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Go me. Now what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they call.
Is done declaring this particular crucial judgment here this morning, and in fact the arguments in court were very interesting, but want to hear from the aide of Chairman Wontumi, who himself has always been coming to court with him almost every time. We just want to get a few words from him. He doesn't want to talk to us, but we'll try as much as possible to get a word from him at this particular point. He's been crucial supporting Wontumi in almost every time that he comes to court, but he doesn't want to engage the media. Clearly, from his demeanor, he looks quite disappointed at this particular point, knowing that his man is going to prison at the moment. But let's try and see if he would say just a few words here at the High Court after Judge Audrey Kokovite delivered this judgment just a few minutes ago. It took more than an hour reading the judgment here. And Mami, in Criminal Code 4, the whole process began when Charles Boateng, who was in court holding the brief of Atachia, and basically on his feet, moving the motion. I mean, basically explaining that they are in court today in order to inform the court about the fact that they filed a motion for a deferment of the judgment because they were seeking constitutional interpretation of some provisions of the Minerals and Mining Act, and they say that if these provisions are not interpreted properly, it means that their client will not be sentenced fairly. But the court dismissed that particular motion. Another thing that happened in court was that the lawyer also informed the judge about the fact that Atachia is currently out of the jurisdiction, and for that reason they would pray to the courts for the ruling or for the motion to be moved to a day after Wednesday, 22nd July. But the judge simply dismissed that as well, and in her view in the court, she basically said that Atachia was in court the last time when the court sat, and in fact he initially prayed for more time for him to familiarize himself with the case, the proceedings that went on before he took over this particular case. The court granted him that particular time, and that Atachia was well aware that the court was going to deliver this judgment. He should have told the court that he wouldn't be around today, but he never did that. And in fact, according to Audrey Kokovite, an experienced lawyer judge here at the High Court, she said if Atachia had told the court that he wouldn't be around today, then the consultations would have gone on, and in order to set an appropriate day for this particular judgment to happen, but he never did that. So it was incompetent, it was smooth lawyers or for Atachia to even write to the court and telling the court that he wouldn't be around today. So the judge simply dismissed that particular letter as well, and then went on to read the judgment. It took more than an hour basically reading this particular motion, and when she read the motion, the judgment at some point, she clearly said that based on the evidence adduced by the prosecution, Chairman Wontumi was found guilty in the charges that were slapped against him. And the prosecution called 4 witnesses. The defense, that's Wontumi's lawyers themselves, also called 5 witnesses, including Chairman Wontumi himself today. And the judge basically said that the prosecution was able to adduce sufficient evidence that meant that Chairman Wontumi would be convicted. When she was done reading the judgment, basically, so once she was done reading the judgment, the counsel in court today, who was holding the brief of Samuel Atachia, Charles Boateng, was on his feet, and he sought litigation. He sought to mitigate the process, in order for the court to reduce the number of years that Wontumi would get at this particular point. He did that. He was so nervous whilst trying to plead the court to reduce the number of years. His hands were shaky in that particular process. He did that after a few minutes, and then another person who also rose on his feet, he also mentioned the fact that he wanted to
morning show on Joy 99.7 FM, and the 6 a.m. news brought to us by Absa Bank Ghana Limited. Your story matters. Total Energies Total, we go the extra mile for you, which means we can bring you the Joy Business Report brought to us by Omni Basic Bank, not just another bank. Akwafu.
And it's good to see you this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Daryl. How you doing?
I'm good. You? God is taking care.
As you can see. We're grateful to God Almighty for how far He's brought us. Yesterday I wasn't feeling so, but I'm here today.
Stronger and better.
Stronger by the grace of God. So
yeah,
we're okay.
Very hopeful.
Yes. Very hopeful for a better day and a better week and a better year.
Yeah, I heard the song.
So I decided to, in fact, there was a song I wanted to start the show with, but I couldn't check all the lyrics. You must check all the lyrics to be sure that there are no swear words in there. So I didn't start the show with that song, but I'll check it again. Maybe tomorrow I'll start with that. But
speaking of hope, is there hope for the country?
Well, I always have hope that things will be better. Indeed, things would be better. But hope is also dependent on how you do things. You see, don't just hope and go and sleep. This morning, Bishop Charles Tete was preaching about faith. He said beautiful things, And so there's faith that comes with works, action. So don't hope and expect manna to fall from heaven. Okay.
You're preaching this morning.
Oh, really? Right. There's one thing I believe in. I believe that my late grandmother, she's called Besie Numa, Enuma Jitia. She used to say something. She said that God has a way of solving all our problems. When it comes to health challenges, God gave someone the mindset to become a medical doctor. Okay, so that when you have problems, that person would solve those problems. So I say, whatever it is that you're looking for, the solution is right here. Except that in our part of the world, we don't have a problem. Our problem is that somebody is the cause of our problem. And when you think like that, you never progress. But this morning, Bernard Ntribu-Esiakun, known as Chairman Wontumi, sentenced to 20 years in prison. Now, many of you have asked the question, you've debated, and have said, oh, no. Wontumi was not sentenced because he was engaged in galamsey or any illegal mining. No, that cannot be the case, no problem. This morning, we're going to break down all the charges. And after breaking down the charges, we'll also share with you the evidence that the prosecution produced and how the judge accepted those. So you have a better understanding of how this case unfolded. That's what we're going to be doing when it comes to the Chairman Wontumi issue. The NPP has issued a statement. But what even happens to Wontumi's campaign to become chairman of the NPP? Stay with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. But Darrell, there's something that, for those who import vehicles into this country, they are always concerned. They always talk about the fact that I imported a vehicle to the country, then GRA said this. Well, no problem. Okay. This is what we're going to do. This morning, we're going to show you how vehicles are valuated, how they are valued, and how the taxes are placed on them.
That's
because you said
discussion.
Come again?
I said that's interesting.
Yeah, that's something we're going to be doing today. Our friends from GRA are going to be joining us to have this all-important conversation. But also, how is it possible that our assembly spend more money to generate less money? It's a conversation we'll get into. All of these coming up here on the Super Morning Show. Who gets the trumpet this morning?
Well, I thought we should do it for Uncle Ebo White. Yesterday was his birthday,
Yeah.
72
years.
72
so,
years.
Yes, we are doing it belatedly. To you, James Ebo White, we
For
say...
all you do, trumpets. Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Cedi comes under renewed pressure as demand outstrips market supply with monthly depreciation reaching almost 2%. Also coming up, traders asking Finance Minister Dr. Kassala to force him to review VAT rate and duties at the ports in Thursday's media budget review to Parliament. Also, Bank of Ghana warns rising transport costs and potential fare hikes could fuel inflation spike in the coming months. Details coming up. My name is Darrell Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Hello to our friends listening from Koforidua on KTU Radio. The city has again come under renewed pressure as demand from businesses continues to outstrip market supply. There's more in the following business desk report.
Data picked up from the commercial banks show that over the past 2 weeks, we have witnessed some sustained pressure on the Ghana cedi in terms of it depreciating against the US dollar. Some market players have told Joy Business that the surge in demand can be linked to firms seeking dollars to finance energy-related imports like crude oil and finished petroleum products, as well as payments to the power producers. There is also some element of panic coming from businesses that are moving to protect their investments from the current development in the Middle East and rising crude oil prices. Our checks on the market showed that the Bank of Ghana, for instance, increased its weekly auction for last week to about $220 million, compared to the about $50 or $100 million in previous weeks. This was, however, not enough compared to the market demand of more than $400 million. Based on this development, the cedi for the month of July has posted almost 2% depreciation against the US dollar, compared to the monthly appreciation posted in June this year. That was the first for 2026. From January to date, the cedi's rate of depreciation has worsened further to hit 8.89%.
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers is worried that fuel prices could be going up by the end of this month due to current tensions in the Middle East, which has resulted in rising crude oil prices as well as pressure on the cedi. Duncan Amoah is Executive Secretary of the Chamber. He says government may be able to do something to lessen the impact.
government should pay closer attention to what you will call the storage, strategic stock program. Just a week or two ago, prices were declining, both on the international markets and even locally. If you get these windows, then as a nation, you need to plan for your people. The expectation will be that you will use facilities like BOST to stock up products so that, give or take, you can be able to maintain prices. Let's do this. Assuming we have stored products and we decided that for this coming window, whatever we bought it for 2 weeks ago or a month ago when prices were declining, we have enough stock. So we will not allow the filter through prices that we are seeing today, the spot prices, to reflect locally. Then we could have saved the situation. So that strategic stock program, government should pay closer. We've said this several times without number.
You heard Duncan Amoah, Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana. Now, economist Professor Patrick Esuming has supported suggestions that global uncertainties could compel the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana to hold the policy rate at 14%. The committee commenced its meeting yesterday and is set to announce its decision tomorrow, including a new policy rate. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Esuming cautioned that increasing the policy rate could further cause inflation to go up.
Keeping the rate unchanged seems like the most likely outcome. Because of the uncertainty, I don't think they should resume the easing. I think they should keep it on hold. But at the same time, I think it's too early to start raising the rate, given that even though there's an expectation that the inflation will continue, we are still way below the target. So as the governor said, so far both the GDP number as well as the last higher frequency data that they've show that the economy is still relatively strong. So while from businesses they might think that they need a further boost, but I think given where we are and the fact that there are no obvious substantial weaknesses from the real sector, perhaps it's a good time to keep the rate unchanged.
Economist Professor Patrick Esuming. Now, traders are asking the Finance Minister, Dr. Kansela, to force him to go ahead and implement the earlier promise of reviewing the VAT rules and duties at the ports in the mid-year budget review. They believe that this could be one of the surest ways to reduce the cost of doing business and check the expected inflation spike. Clement Boateng is president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association.
We have a new VAT law which talks about 20% of the standard rate of VAT. We think government should still look at the flat rate that the informal sector were paying. We were paying something around 4%. And because of the new VAT law that we have, that flat rate, has been abolished. But we are telling government that that flat rate must still be considered. And then we even suggested a rate of between 5 to 6% that we think must still be given to the informal sector.
You had Clement Boateng, president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Winston Amoah has warned that rising transport costs coupled with expected increase in transport fares and utility tariffs may result in increased inflation in the coming months. The governor highlighted these concerns when he opened the Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Monday, which is expected to end tomorrow.
Headline inflation has risen for 3 consecutive months, from 3.2% in March to 5.3% in June, driven largely by transport and haulage prices to higher import energy costs. All signals a more persistent shift in the inflation outlook. This assessment must take into account the interaction between external commodity price pressures on one hand and prospective adjustments to utility tariffs and transport fares on the other hand, which could add a domestic impulse to what began as an external shock.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, banking consultant Dr. Benjamin Amoah has said that it may be difficult for the Bank of Ghana to determine who can take over Standard Chartered Bank's retail business. It's coming after Group Chairman of Indum, Dr. Parkwesi Indum, appealed to the regulator to ensure that Standard Chartered's retail and wealth business is sold to local investors. But Dr. Amoah says it would be difficult based on the current banking laws.
the most important thing is that the regulator is made aware, the exit strategy is discussed with the regulator and other relevant regulators of the market so that it doesn't cause disruption, most importantly, to depositors and institutions that are doing business with Standard Chartered. So long as the owners have notified Bank of Ghana and Bank of Ghana is walking them through the process, there is very little that Bank of Ghana can do to prevent the sale transaction. That is, if a suitable buyer is found by the owners of Standard Chartered. Like we say, capital will go to where the return are the highest.
You're listening to the Joy Business Report. The Ghana Civil Aviation Authority has assured passengers of robust security and safety at the country's airspace, coming after a Brussels Airlines flight bound for Lomé was forced to return to Accra shortly after takeoff on Monday evening following a technical fault. It added the technical problem that forced the aircraft to turn back is being investigated by Brussels Airlines in line with the established aviation safety procedures under the oversight of the authority. Oil marketing firm Petrosol is set to become the latest indigenous energy company to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange. The announcement was made by the Chief Executive, Michael Bozumbil, during the Ghana International Petroleum Conference in Accra, where he outlined the company's strategy to expand its footprint in both the petroleum and renewable energy sectors.
We know that as we begin to grow and expand, we must change. And so we evolve in our corporate governance. And so we thankfully also had to subject ourselves under audits and verification by Ghana Stock Exchange and the Securities and Exchanges Commission. And we are glad to announce that these institutions have approved Petrosol's request to raise long-term funding on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
And before we go, let's take a look at the markets this morning. This morning on the commodity market, crude oil has dropped marginally, selling at $88.69 a barrel. Gold going for $4,060 an ounce. Cocoa trading at $5,520 a ton. On the currency market, the dollar going for 11 cedis 63 pesos. That's what major commercial banks are offering their clients. The euro going for 13 cedis 30 pesos. The British pound 15 cedis 66 pesos. The forex bureaus quoting the dollar 12 cedis 25 pesos. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for listening. The Super Morning Show continues with Winston and the team.
Thank you very much, Darryl. Okay, but our inspirational song for today is one by Lord Kenya.
Okay.
Enisika.
Oh, okay. Interesting pick for this one.
You know that song, right?
Lord Kenya.
That's the one that Jojo has chosen as our inspirational song this morning. Let's enjoy.
Right.
Lord Kenya, where they go, senior, see, so, make a sika pipi, but me to be the one, and the curry. See, come for fare, make a sika pipi, but me to be the one, and the curry. See, come for fare, Kenya sika, ma oshende, we are. Say, sika, no trade, kokoria. Binie, sense, Sika zinibia, no sika, fano, binie, sky na sumanonia. You don't get money, no sika, fano. So ajolo, ajola. So ajolo, ajola. barrier. See a boat. A Mexican, so I was to shower. See, actually, be a fancy can. I can fight ya, dear. The Quadamon, the Quarry, the Pay support. Or Brian, she is a metron. Copon. I tell you, baby, I need hot. Go to the Pala, what ya, and man, I see it.
Hot. Kutura para. Anyway. Yes, so Banai, she says, and Mason, Matron Coport. It is well.
So my main family home to two be home. Make a crab and one of many so. This show one dinner. Mindy what?
Yo, DJ X-Ray. Let's continue with our fewer tip for today.
Hey, Abraham Philip Kojo Kenya. See Campo Faneho. Okay, our fewer tip: smoke detectors, alarms, and warning devices should be tested routinely, not only after an incident. A silent alarm system offers no protection when danger comes. So test early and test often. And it's a message from Comac.
Okay, which means we can learn how to say it right.
Yes, and today's Say It Right has no relation to somebody's prison sentence. But it is brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks. It's also brought to us by Societe Generale Bank Ghana. The future is you.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
Today, let's focus on one of the most common words in the English language, number. Number. Number, not number. Number. A number is a symbol in arithmetic used to measure quantities. Numbers are used for counting and calculations. It originates from the Latin word numerus, which meant quantity. The source word is nem, which meant to allot or to divide. So remember, it's number, not nomma. The B is not silent, not when you say it right.
Okay, which means we can get into the newspaper review. Before we do, let me tell you about SG Bank Ghana. Okay, so for every thriving business started with someone who dared to dream. At Societe Generale Ghana, we believe those dreams deserve the right support, and that's why from now till September, we're helping small and medium enterprises, SMEs, access the financing and banking solutions they need through our SME Loans promo. As a trusted partner to many businesses across Ghana, we bring the expertise, experience, and tailored solutions needed to help businesses thrive. So does your business need equipment or machinery to expand your operations? Finance lease solutions can help. Are you looking for working capital to take advantage of new opportunities? Our Boafo loan is designed to support your business growth. Or perhaps you're waiting for customers to settle invoices. Well, our factoring and invoice discounting solutions can help you unlock cash tied up in receivables, while our business accounts provide the banking support your business needs to succeed. Whatever your business goals, Societe Generale Ghana has the expertise and solutions to help you achieve them. Visit the nearest Societe Generale Ghana branch today or visit societegenerale.com.gh for more information. You can also call 0302-214-314 between now and September to learn more about our SME Loans program and discover how we can support the next chapter of your business. Societe Generale Ghana, the future is you.
And the Kingdom Books Year sales is still happening. You get up to 70% discount on quality products at Kingdom Books. So take your family, tell a friend. Don't miss out on these amazing offers at the Kingdom Books Year sales, which is happening at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily at the Kingdom Books office at Osu. Kingdom Books Yard Sales. Shop smart, save big, and if you want more information, you can call 0244 311 955.
Okay, let's get into the newspapers then.
Yeah, I'll start with the Daily Guide this morning, and the big story: Wontumi jailed 20 years, fined 300,000 cedis for illegal mining. And the MPP vows to appeal Wontumi's conviction. There is also an update on the Boankra Inland Port project and the legal issues to do with it. And it says Supreme Court affirms High Court's ruling against APSL. And police snap 5 land guards, seize guns and ammunition.
Okay, let's get into the daily graphic for today. And the daily graphic for today, Galamsey Wontumi jailed 20 years conviction victory for environmental advocacy according to a group. And cabinet approves $331 million to end double track. And MIF post 1.1 billion cedis profit in 2025. President tasked ECOWAS to implement protocols on xenophobic attack. Back page, how De La Fuente built Spain's golden empire. Kojo Yankson.
Yes, Auntie.
You were hoping for a Messi victory.
I was hoping, in fact, I was hoping that Messi would win the golden boot. I didn't really mind whether Argentina won.
Oh, you wanted him to score more goals?
Yes.
It wasn't going to happen.
Yes. I didn't
Against Spain? Oh,
yeah. I mean, they shut him down completely.
Hope it's a plan, you know.
Anyway,
hope it's not a plan.
Hope it's not a strategy.
Let me just say that the newspaper review brought to us by Syntex Tanker, your stronger, your tough, Kel Chaco toothpaste, happy smile, and Star Oil quality and affordable fuel for all.
Okay, let's go to the National Enquirer. The National Enquirer doesn't have the Wontumi story on the front page, but there's a big story of the 14th John Evans Atta Mills commemorative lecture, which is happening on Wednesday with Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng and Hannah Tete speaking. Ooh. Setting the record straight, Auditor General's report highlights systemic reforms, not 78.6 million wrought at NPA. And NPA boss salutes champions in the industry, and from promise to impact, Ghana Medical Trust Fund already saving lives. That's also the story. And the big news from the Tema Oil Refinery. Tema Oil Refinery receives 1 million barrels of indigenous Jubilee crude for processing.
Good, finally we're getting somewhere. Economy Times, mining sector set for major regulatory overhaul as Cabinet approves new law reforms. Key fiscal and monetary policy decisions due this week. And TOR sent to expansion to meet 70% of Ghana's fuel demand. We must meet 100% of Ghana's fuel demand.
If you go to the Spider newspaper, political earthquake, Wontumi jail term ignites national firestorm. Government rolls out $331 million. Education reset includes massive senior high school TVET expansion and other long-term funding strategies. Now, Julius Deborah is championing public-private partnership synergy as catalyst for Ghana's economic transformation, and digital daylight robbery. Thousands lose millions as CWPC Ponzi scheme collapses.
Oh,
CWPC.
What's that?
It's a Ponzi scheme which has been running for some time. So far, we know that over 3 million Ghana cedis has been lost by over 300 people. And they had a different strategy, not like the others we've seen before. And we didn't see it coming, but a lot of people have put money in it and lost money.
Wow.
Yeah,
do we know
CWPC.
Do we know much about this? I mean, who were they targeting?
They were targeting people who wanted to make money overnight, basically. And they presented themselves as a network marketing business of sorts. Alleged they had affiliations with some of the biggest global brands like Amazon and all those things. And people would have to recruit people, and to get money, you have to put some money in. You have to fund your account and da. It's kind of shit.
Sad one. Yeah. Financial literacy.
Thousands lose millions.
Let's go online. Online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest. Let's see what's on myjoyonline.com.
Okay, let me take you to My Joy Online this morning.
Please do.
A lot of stories on My Joy Online, but the big one is the Wontumi story. Wontumi was a kingpin, not the underlings. This is Martin Pebu speaking about Galamsey. Now, NPP government had already disowned Wontumi over alleged illegality before power change. This is Dafia Meko speaking. And 2 vehicles destroyed in Mahian fire, school bus damaged. And NPA rejects claims of financial loss in Auditor General's reports. And Martin Pebu says Wontumi was bound to be convicted after prosecution witness testimony. High Court erred in law in Wontumi judgment. This is John Darko speaking. And Inis Afuseni says, I have no sympathy for Wontumi over illegal mining conviction. Dr. Paul Grave Boachit Dankwa says that Wontumi has been taken to Insawan prison to begin his 20-year sentence. He speaks for Wontumi. And the full judgment has also been published by Majo Online. Full judgment why Chairman Wontumi was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
CityNewsroom.com, Brussels Airlines flight returns to Accra after technical fault. Minimum capital requirements scrapped, but foreign traders must bring $500,000. Restore 20% VAT waiver on locally assembled vehicles, auto assemblers. And government to introduce coding, AI, and TVET into basic school curriculum. There we go again. Dapia Mekpo says tribunals are constitutionally mandated, not political tools. NPP devastated by Wontumi's 20-year sentence. Bafwewa and minority challenges Wontumi's conviction, declares him political prisoner. And on that note, let's get on to Zoom because Samson Ladi Anyinini has joined us this morning, to help us understand, first of all, the ruling and all other, issues related to it. Samson, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Palestine, for example.
Okay, let me just see. Okay, I think we have Samson now. Yes, Samson, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, boss.
Good. Now, I know you've gone through the judgment. So before we get into everything, help us understand, first of all, the charges, because that's also a subject of debate and controversy. What was Wontumi charged with, first of all?
Did you say subject of debate and controversy?
I said that because yesterday after the sentencing, you had all manner of, debates about whether or not he was engaged in illegal mining. I just want the clarity from you. What was he charged with?
Okay, so I sat in the courtroom while the ruling was delivered, but I didn't sit in the courtroom throughout the entire ruling. What I can tell you, even before we go over the charge sheet again, is that every charge, every count, there are 6 counts, was dealt with in a lot of detail by the judge. In fact, as I sat there and she was reading and reading, I sat there for about 45 minutes and left because I was going to the next courtroom. I had been to court to do my own business, did one business, I was finished, and the next case I had was around 11. So I sat in that courtroom until 11, then I left. When I left, she was at that point addressing counts 4 and 6. And for each count, she was extremely detailed. Okay, so the 6 counts are: 1, assignment of mineral rights without approval, contrary to Section 14(1) and Section 99(2)(b) of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by Section 3 of the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, Act 995. So, assignment of mineral rights without approval. Now, let me say this. There are 6 charges, 6 counts, but they all border on just 2 provisions of the law. The second count, if we are putting them into the 2 categories, the second count is purposefully facilitating an unlicensed mining operation, contrary to Section 99(2)(b) of Act 703. So counts 4, 5, and 6 are on this, and counts 1, 2, and 3 are about assignment of mineral rights without approval as required by law. So let me read one of the particulars for the assignment of mineral rights without approval, and one of the particulars for the purposefully facilitating an unlicensed mineral operation. Particulars: Bernard Entwibuesiako, alias Wontumi, 94 years old, entrepreneur. That
you mean 49 years old?
49 years old. Did I say 94?
Yes, you did.
Okay, no. Unfortunately, because of the cases that are hanging over his neck and head, look at the other case that is hanging over him, the Tano Nimrim Forest, Tano Nimrim 1. This is Samra Boy 1.
Yes.
So you remember Kenashigbe, Dr. Kwame Sapong, Martin Pebu, Edem Senanu came together and took a petition about the Tano Nimrim Forest, and that one is pending. So that one has not been gone into. You know that there is an Exim Bank matter for which he has already made an approach seeking to make a plea bargain so that he will pay back and not get a jail term. So if he's not fortunate and all these go on and they are successful, then perhaps the 49 may turn to 94 years to be spent in jail. So the particulars, Bernard Entwibuesiako, alias Wontumi, 49 years old, entrepreneur, that you, in the year 2024, in Samraboy in the Western region and within the jurisdiction of this court, being the owner and controlling director of Akoto Mining Company Limited, did without first obtaining the prior written approval of the minister, permit Henry Okum and Michael Jedu AEC to undertake a mining operation within the mining concession which was granted to the said Akoto Mining Company Limited only. Then on the facilitation thing, so there is almost the same that is done for the rest of them. And then on the facilitation one, he again is said that in that same year in Samraboy in the Western region, within the jurisdiction of the court, being the owner and controlling director of Akoto Mining Limited, did purposefully facilitate Henry Okun and Michael Jedu AEC to, without a license granted by the minister, undertake a mining operation within the mining concession which was granted to the said Akoto Mining Limited only. So basically, these were the charges. So we call them counts and the particulars of the charges. So as I said earlier, there are 6 counts or 6 charges. But remember that it is against he Wontumi, it is against Kwame Entwi, who is supposed to be a shareholder and director with him, for the third accused, that is Akoto Mining Company Limited. So for all the 3 of them, they are each charged with assignment of mineral rights without approval, contrary to blah, 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 and purposefully facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. So 6 together will come into the category I've put them, 2 categories. Assignment of mineral rights without approval is count 1, 2, and 3, and purposefully facilitating an unlicensed mining operation is count 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Now, I realize if you look at the judgment, you see that the prosecution witnesses were Michael Jedu, Henry Okum, whom Wontumi granted this, access to without license, Chief Inspector Safo Esiedu Kwesi, and Joseph Iroko. Now, what evidence did the prosecution adduce to convince the judge on this sentencing?
Right. So largely the evidence bordered on the mining lease itself that was issued to Akoto Mining exclusively. Remember that the judgment turns on the exclusivity of the mining lease issued to Akoto Mining Limited as a separate legal entity, a company, to operate in that place in 2021. So the mining lease was important to prove that, in fact, the lease was issued to a company exclusively. And by the provisions of the Mining Act that were in reference, if the lease is issued to you or issued to a company, it is issued to you exclusively. And in fact, in the lease, it is so stated that it is issued to Akoto Mining exclusively. You are unable to do a transfer or an assignment, a mortgage, or howsoever the law calls it, to a third party to deal with that concession without the prior written permit of the minister for the sector. So that document was important to show and prove that the lease was issued to Akoto Mining exclusively. Then the next thing, his Akoto Mining, Wontumi, his own witness statement, his own caution statement. When you are arrested, you go to the police, you give a caution, you give a statement to the police. So his own statement that he gave to police, his own witness statement that he put in the courtroom, which was added to the caution statement that he gave to the police, where in those statements were important and for which the reliance by the court was important. So the mining lease dated July 23, 2021 was the Exhibit G, and it was central to the whole discussion to first for the court to establish that yes, there's a lease, it's given to him and the company and the company alone. Then, as I said, the various statements that were given by those who became accused, but he in particular, and then his witness statement, and then the things he had to say in under cross-examination.
Okay.
So on three levels, his own words, written and oral, and then the other witnesses, his own witness people, so to speak, their own words, written and oral. Okay. Because they needed to prove that in fact and indeed he had assigned, or the company had assigned the lease or allowed the two individuals spoken about to go onto the concession without the prior written approval of the minister. But it was found that in all the dealings of the company with these two individuals, no document was exchanged in agreement. The agreement that led to allowing a third party to come onto the concession was not evidenced by a document. And since it was not evidenced by a document, it was the words they wrote in their statement, it was the cross-examination, the things they said in the cross-examination. And that also was not in dispute, because whilst the charge is that you have given the concession to a third party without approval, Wontumi writes in his witness statement that yes, I gave it, but I did not give it for mining, or call it illegal mining. I did not give it for mining. I gave it for reclamation. So the other party who also was giving it also confirmed that yes, Wontumi gave it to me, and he gave it to me for reclamation and mining. He didn't give me money for the reclamation. He didn't give me tools for the reclamation. Reclamation is very expensive, as the expert witness came to give in the dock. So he said, "Let you mine the portions of the concession that have not been mined." Remember, it had been greatly mined already by Wontumi's company, or Wontumi, and then he was brought in now to mine the unmined portion and to use the proceeds to do the reclamation. So Wontumi says, yes, I gave it to a third party, but I didn't give it to that third party for mining. The third party says, yes, Wontumi gave it to me through an oral agreement, not by any document, but he gave it to me for reclamation and for mining. So there was no difficulty on the part of the court to confirm this second important ingredient, that whilst the lease Exhibit G shows that, yes, it was given to Akonta Mining, a concession was given to Akonta Mining for exclusive use. You can't give it out, or any portion of it out, without the permission of the minister. The two of them confirmed that, yes, this says I gave, this says I received, and I worked on it. So that one too was very easy for the judge to come to that conclusion in the absence of a document.
Okay.
In fact,
but Samson, before you continue,
Yeah.
Samson, before you continue, for us non-lawyers, the man says, yes, I gave it to him for reclamation, because then Akonta Mining, as you say, had engaged in mining on a particular part, and he says, go and reclaim that aspect. Now, in reclaiming it, I just want an understanding. In reclaiming it, should he have also informed the minister that this person is going on to my mining lease to reclaim?
Yes, because the person who is going onto your concession has not been given the permission to be on it, and the law strictly says to allow somebody else to go onto it, you need the prior written permission of the minister to let a third party go onto it or deal with it. In any case, it was found that Wontumi had claimed that this third party that he brought on was providing mining support services. And it was found that mining support services also requires a certain, license process. But this person was found to be a small-scale miner, not a mining support services provider. This was a small-scale miner. By his own words, he said he is a small-scale miner and he's not into mining support services provision. He is a small-scale miner, and he had done that for about 17 years or so. So, again, what I said earlier, in this judgment, and you see that she took pains to use their own statements, written and oral, end documents where it was available to come to prove the ingredients you needed to prove in the documentation, in the judgment, except that she found that whilst this third party operated without following, getting the requisite registration or license, the law does not provide a direct sanction for that. So he didn't get punished directly for operating the so-called services without an operating license, as in mining support services for reclamation. And the regulations provide strictly that if you are going to perform reclamation activities as a mine support service, you needed registration or a license according to the regulations LI 2174, and he didn't have. But somehow that provision didn't contain a punishment for the third party. Now, the question, as I mentioned now, turned on, since the judge doesn't have to struggle to confirm that the concession was given to Akoto Mining, confirmed by Exhibit G, exclusive use. Number 2, has it been given out to a third party? No struggle to confirm that it has been given to a third party. The question now became, was it given without or with license? And Akoto Mining or Wontumi himself confirms to the court that they didn't make an application to give a portion of the concession to anybody. So in their written and in their oral evidence, this is confirmed. It's not a question of dispute. And then the Minerals Commission person also gives testimony and says they did not make an application for any such thing. So, Winston, to be frank with you, I sat in there listening, and when I came back reading over the judge, when I left, like sometime when she was dealing with counts 4 and 6, I stood up. I told somebody who was sitting there that the case is over. He's going in. And the guy said, but it's not, she hasn't finished reading. How do you know? And I said, but up to this point, it's been proving from the evidences she has gone through and the analysis she has made that this is done. But particularly most of the non-lawyers sitting there were still thinking and waiting. You know how the judges do their judgment? They'll be reading. If you are not careful, you won't know exactly what is coming up. So I said, look, it's over, it's done. Now, the question as to, there was one place where the judge had to rely on what you call circumstantial evidence, because there was no direct evidence. And that place too, she went through a lot of painstaking process. That was the question, what was the concession given to the third party for? Because Wontumi says, I gave it out for reclamation. The guy says, he gave it to me for reclamation and mining. So whose word do you believe? Since there's no direct evidence, they didn't sign an agreement, it's only word of mouth. And remember also that Wontumi's lawyers, Apia Kubi, in the cross-examination process, actually their strategy, a main plank of their strategy was to say that once there is no document evidencing the bringing in of the third party, you cannot say that we have brought in a third party. And that is how, they intended to get him to escape. Unfortunately, that appears to have fallen apart and rather massively supported the Republic's case. In fact, in the judgment, you will hear the judge say on a number of occasions, without saying it explicitly, that Wontumi's lawyer also did him a disservice.
Really?
Akubi, yes, did him a disservice. If you like, I'll read portions to you.
Please do.
Where there were some cross-examinations to be done on the particular subjects, and the matter was left without cross-examination properly to be done, or at all. Nobody spoke about it after it had been shown that it is proving in a certain way. Apia Kubi left the thing without attending to it, and the court said, well, this is your problem. That's what you did. I think if you have the judgment, let's look to pages, I think 28 and 29. There's a big part of it there that the judge discusses. 28, 29. I'm trying to get to that portion of the judgment. 28, 29. So,
okay, Samson, I have it here. It says prosecution witness 2 was not cross-examined on this critical piece of evidence. Neither did the first accused put before this court any evidence to show that he had advanced money to prosecution witness 2 to fund the reclamation. Thus, PW2 has maintained throughout the trial that the first accused had permitted him to do two things in the concession, namely to mine for gold and then use part of the proceeds to reclaim the damaged land. In fact, during cross-examination, when PW2 repeated his claim, counsel for the first and third accused did nothing about it. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, and Winston, look at the question and answer that went on. Were you able to extract some gold in your operation? The guy's answer is yes, of course. That was my aim of going there. Wontumi says his aim of going there was what? Reclamation.
Yes.
Were you able to extract some gold? He said, yes, that was my main aim of going there. Question, and when your staff, there were some 28 others that were arrested with him, right? So it says, when your staff, and remember, they were arrested on the concession with the bold signage, Akoto Mining Limited, on it. Bold signage on the piece of building or structure on the thing had Akoto Mining Limited on it. So if you get in there, you would easily take them, according to the process you go through, you easily take them for Akoto Mining staff, so to speak. And see, when the guy said he didn't give him money to fund the reclamation because reclamation is very expensive. You need to bring all the heavy-duty earth-moving machines to help you do the process. And he said he promised him that because he has some of the equipment himself and so on, he will give him some. And when it was not forthcoming, he had to go to a certain machine supplier where Wontumi buys his machines in Kumasi. And then when he went there, is it Wontumi did not pay or something? And then Wontumi called the person to ask the person, give the person the all clear for him to give him the machines. What were the machines? These were excavators. Okay, so the questions were, what were the excavators intended for? Wontumi says, yes, I gave this approval. I spoke to the vendor to give him these things that he hadn't paid all of it. But I didn't know that they were going to be used for mining. The guy said he knew at all times that they were used for mining.
Okay.
And even when the next question that came up was, so if you didn't know, first you are claiming that he was a mine support service provider. We have found out that he's a small scale miner according to his own testimony. Now you say you didn't know that, so you didn't do anything around him to know what it was. The guy says, he's my friend, I know him, he knows me. I've been doing small scale mining for 17 years. Then you say he went to purchase these machines. You gave the all clear for it to be taken to the process, to the place, and you never followed up, never once stepped on the concession to supervise what was going on, to see what the equipment was being used for. He said no, he didn't do that. And you know, I think the regional minister, he was a regional minister, that Ochre Dako.
Yes, Ochre Dako Mensa.
Came to testify that they had to use RECSEC. You have to do some security process for protection of sorts, and because the Galamsey situation was serious at the place, and they said, so you knew all of this. And in fact, the RECSEC processes that had to be done, this person who is not, you don't know too much, and it's not your employee or something, actually use your company letterhead, Akoto Mining letterhead, to do the letter for the purposes of the RECSEC intervention. And yet you also didn't go there. The guy in his testimony says, Wontumi knew as a matter of fact that he was mining on the property, on the concession, and not so. So in the cross-examination, I was asking, there were two more questions here, and the guy answered. I wanted us to read. It says, after he said mining was his main job, and so of course, that's what he went to do, he was asked, and when your staff were arrested from the site, they took away some amount of gold. Is that correct? Yes, my lady. And this gold was not from illegal miners, but from your operations. Yes, my lady. The court said the nagging question at this stage, following from this testimony, is why any person of sound mind would volunteer to reclaim a tract of land deep in the forest that has already been mined by another at that other's own cost, and at no cost to that other who asked them to do it. More intriguing is that this person, alleged to have offered this service gratuitously, is a small-scale miner with no previous experience in land reclamation, assuming without admitting that a person of sound mind would even agree to enter this alleged arrangement. PW2, that's prosecution witness 2, has expressly, emphatically, and consistently refuted the claim that he ever agreed to it. Having rejected the allegation, the burden rests on the first accused to lead evidence on the probabilities to show that PW2 had agreed to the alleged arrangement. What did the judge say?
No such evidence
was,
however, led in this case.
Winston, not this occasion alone. I'm telling you that there are a number of occasions where the judge appears to show you that his lawyer did him grave disservice.
Okay. Samson, I mean, before we go, the NPP, after this judgment, in a press conference, stated, and let me quote from page 2, instead, the conviction rested on assumptions and inferences which, in our view, could not amount to proof beyond reasonable doubt. That is why we firmly believe that this conviction is a travesty of justice and has to be overturned on an appeal. Based on your readings of the judgment, what's your view on the MPP's position?
My view is that for every ingredient that the court needed to prove the offenses that were charged, the court went through a painstaking process using the the accused person's own testimony, written and oral, to get the matter positively established, and left the court somewhat no option than to come to the conclusion that the court came to. On one occasion, the court there was no direct evidence, and the court had to resort to circumstantial evidence. And by law, circumstantial evidence must lead irresistibly to one conclusion, a conclusion of guilt and not the innocence of the accused. Here too, the court went at length, used several authorities, used their own words in many instances to come to a point which would leave you, Winston, in no doubt that the judge had to hold in the way she held. When there was an issue about, the thing was Akoto Mining, which is a separate legal entity in law. Therefore, it is not Wontumi. The people Wontumi dealt with told the court that they know Wontumi, they don't know Akoto Mining. So you see that his own lawyer, when he's cross-examining the witness, he's saying Akoto Mining, and their reply is Wontumi. In fact, they go further to say that in this place we are talking about, nobody knows Akoto Mining. All they know is Wontumi. They asked Wontumi, when was the last time you filed your annual returns as a company? Wontumi says, I don't remember. They ask him, your other director shareholder, where is he? He says since 2021, 2022, he wanted to travel and he told me about traveling. Since then, I haven't seen him. Winston, the lease was given in 2021. So the guy who is at large looks like you don't even need him.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The lease was given in 2021, and all the activities that went on and the reclamation in 2024 mean all that time the guy was not even there. It was only Wontumi who was operating the company. Is there any documentary trail for anything you do? You yourself and your witnesses confirm that everything you do is oral. So you see the judge taking time to show that the company existed in Wontumi and there was no corporate governance. There was no board meeting or anything of the sort. So everything Akoto Mining is Wontumi, and everything he does is oral, no evidence. So with grave difficulty, the court was left with no option to pierce the corporate veil and to say, look, the company is not separate from Wontumi. Wontumi is the company. And then eventually came to the decision that it had to come to. But you know what? Appeals can always turn on a number of things. They can turn on the facts. They can turn on a question of law. There was a preliminary question that was raised in the written address. Actually, initially I was in the impression that there was no address, but from the ruling, you will see that there was an address. And Atachia Atachia came in after the case was over.
Yeah.
Raised a certain issue, saying that the law, the part that prescribes the penalties for the offense, there is a portion of it, it states the thing but doesn't give you the penalties. And he says that one, it's in accordance with Article 1911. Article 1911 of the Constitution says that nothing is an offense unless it is prohibited by a written law and the penalty for it has also been prescribed. So he said the penalty is not prescribed in the same provision. So refer the matter to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to make a decision and bring that decision before you can continue. They can raise an appeal this place, but the court dismissed that on the basis that it was too plain, it was too obvious, and what they were raising, the preliminary issue on and asking that we should go to the Supreme Court for interpretation. It was clear there was no need for any interpretation because she can see clearly in the law that not only has the activity been prohibited, but the punishment has also been prescribed in the law. Therefore, she will not refer that. Well, they can go on appeal on technical, legal grounds. The factual grounds, they can also, I don't know, but that one we will leave it to them.
Okay, but Samson, finally,
fair to say that the court did something untoward on the back of the facts.
Okay, Samson, finally, now that it's been established that Akoto Mining through Wontumi allowed a third party without license from the minister to engage in illegal mining, and it's also been proven that the plan was to get this person to mine and use the funds to do so. Can his assets then be used to fund the reclamation process?
So you would have... once again, let's go to the end of the judgment and you see something there. Go to the end of the judgment.
Okay.
There's something very instructive at the end of the judgment. At the end of the judgment, after he gets his 20 years and he's expected to pay 10,000 penalty units twice. So he gets 20 years on the 2 counts. And then he's supposed to pay 10,000 penalty units on the 2 counts as well. And if he fails to pay those 10,000 penalty units, then he's supposed to, as in the fine, he's supposed to serve an additional 3 years for failing to pay those fines. Remember, Akoto Mining also gets not 20 years. Akoto Mining gets 15 years. And let me be sure about that. At the end, I haven't opened there yet, but if you go there, if you are there, let's look at that. Akoto Mining gets let's get it quick.
Samson, I have it. Let me just read it out to you. It says, on count 1, the accused is sentenced to serve a term of 20 years imprisonment in hard labor and also to a fine of 10,000 penalty units. In default, serve 3 years in hard labor. On count 4, the first accused is sentenced to serve a term of 20 years imprisonment in hard labor and also to a fine of 10,000 penalty units. In default, serve 3 years in hard labor. On count 3, the third accused is sentenced to pay a fine of 15,000 penalty units.
15,000 penalty units. And then in default of that fine, he gets what?
It just talks about 15,000 penalty units.
Yes.
But it says, in addition to the above, pursuant to Section 9 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, Act 995, all items retrieved from the third accused concession as aforesaid are forfeited to the state. In dealing with a forfeited item, the minister shall comply with Section 10 of the Act.
Right. So the Section 10, the law that the judge depends on to make the forfeiture is where I wanted to take you to. That says that, so you were asking if you pay or do, there's nothing else he has to do again because there's a forfeiture. All the things that have been seized are going to be taken away. Remember, there were how many excavators? There are a number of them. At the beginning of judgment, you read the number of excavators that were seized on the 27th. The 28 workers were picked together with the Michael Jedu Aisi. So that makes 29 individuals that were picked up. And there were 25 serviceable excavators, 4 non-serviceable excavators. There were 8 pump-action guns, 1 single-barrel gun, some cartridges, 5 pieces of metal suspected to be gold contained in a sachet, 4 motorcycles, 2 vehicles, water pumping machines, a grease gun, 4 machetes, and 157,000 Ghana cedis. So all of this have been forfeited. You can imagine that's a lot of things. How many excavators? If they want to use all of that for the reclamation, that is at the discretion or at the disposal of the state.
What about his personal assets? So these are things that belong to Akoto. But of course, how about Wontumi's own assets personally? Can they also be used to do the reclamation?
Okay, so the judgment we are dealing with is limited to a certain thing, and that's where we stay. Remember that the company too was fined 15,000 penalty units.
Yes.
On counts 3 and on counts 6.
Yes.
Counts 3 and count 6. The company was found 15,000 penalty unit. A penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. I know your maths is very good. So Wontumi is going to pay a total of about 240,000, and then the company is paying about 360,000.
Yeah.
So altogether, you are looking at about 600,000 that is going to be paid, in addition to everything else that has been forfeited from the concession, to the state.
Okay.
You can see that that's quite detailed and a lot of work that has happened. But the 20 years, prison terms are not your usual calendar years.
Yes.
Yeah, so a certain calculation will happen. 20 years is not exactly 20 years, but we can attempt what is a standard sentence calculation in operation under the laws regarding time served and good conduct, and how that may benefit Wontumi. Now, remember that because he's responsible for the company, he takes all the liabilities of the company as well. Now, if he does not succeed in overturning the sentence on appeal, according to Section 34(1) of the Prison Service Act 1972, a prisoner serving a fixed sentence of 6 weeks or more, please, that is instructive. A prisoner serving 6 weeks or more may, by steady industry and good conduct, earn a statutory remission of up to 1/3 of their sentence once it is 6 weeks or more, and you conduct yourself a steady industry, good conduct, you may earn what is known as a statutory remission of up to 1/3 of your sentence. So all things being equal, if you apply to Wontumi the 20 years head sentence, then 20 years, the maximum remission, 1/3, that is 6 years and 8 months.
Yeah.
The actual execution period, if he earns the full statutory remission through good behavior and steady industry, his actual time spent in prison will be about 13 years and 4 months.
All right, Samson Ladi Anyenini, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're grateful to you. Samson Ladi Anyenini is a private legal practitioner and also host of Newsfile here on Joy FM and the Joy News channel. Stay with us. Unfortunately, we're not unable to bring you the BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us, Glyco, we cushion you for life, and Oba Spaghetti. We'll be right back after these.
Chairman Wontumi has a lot of businesses, and for that reason, if Chairman Wontumi is eventually sentenced to so many years, that could affect all of that. But let's listen to one of the lawyers who was in court today, just to appreciate what he makes of this particular process.
We are around that. Because, yes, I do appreciate that, yes, there are situations where the veil of incorporation could be lifted and directors could be held responsible. It is not in all situations that those things are applicable. So I'm sure it's an area his lawyers would have to look at and see if it will open up some areas of appeal for him. But I'm a bit worried and a bit sad.
20 years for an offense that the minimum is 15, maximum 25. The judge, I think, might have listened to your plea, don't you believe?
Probably she did, probably she did not. Because I was of the view that the minimum sentence was okay. Because I made a point that getting Wontumi out of the picture, that is incarcerating him, may affect a lot of things, especially his businesses, the number of people he employs and all that. So that was the appeal I was making to the court, that yes, the court has come to the conclusion and convicted Mr. Wontumi for all the offenses. But in terms of the sentences, I mean, the court ought to consider his significance in society, especially the chain of businesses he owns. And I also made the point that currently we are struggling with a lot of youth employment. And if the court itself has established that Mr. Wontumi is the directing minds of all his businesses, it means it's very crucial to his businesses. So getting him away from his businesses in giving him such long sentence may negatively impact on the businesses, and the young people who get jobs through his businesses and all that, they'll come onto the streets as unemployed, adding to the huge numbers who are already on the streets with no employment. So that was the appeal I made to the court, that the court should consider this particular circumstance of Mr. Wontumi and probably give him the barest minimum of sentence. That was what I did. I don't.
The argument that it should be as a deterrent sentence to persons, especially the fight against illegal
considering
mining.
the way
you see, I am not in any way encouraging anybody to go into illegal mining. And for me, the point I was making is that, yes, Mr. Wontumi may have committed the offense, but it was the bigger picture I was looking at, because he was going to be sentenced anyway. So my mitigation was to reduce the sentence, that's all. It's not to put in a defense for whatever he might have done or not. Exactly.
What is your relationship with Wontumi?
I thought he would have been given the barest minimum.
What is your relationship?
I don't know him from
Wontumi?
anywhere. Probably we just share a name. I'm Bernard, he's Bernard. I have no relationship with Mr. Wontumi. Maybe because he's my namesake. But I only felt that as a lawyer, these things happen. It's not because it's Mr. Wontumi. There are times when you are in court and you feel like you need to probably intervene as a friend of the court. It is something we do out of ordinary practice. It is not because it was Mr. Wontumi. We have done this several times where we believe that we need to add our voice in mitigation. Remember, it is not against the conviction. It was just to intervene with the number of years he was going to be given. So it was against the sentencing that we were trying to mitigate, that the court should give him the barest minimum. It was not against his conviction. So it is not as if I did that to probably encourage illegal mining. No. It was just for the courts to understand that Mr. Wontumi is just not like you and myself. He owns a lot of businesses. So the court, I don't know if she considered that, but well, I'm sure his lawyers would advise him accordingly.
So that's
allow me to go.
Bernard
Bernard Oredu there talking to the press at the Accra High Court. Basically, he was one of the lawyers who was on his feet in criminal court and in fact, in his arguments in court, he told the judge that Wontumi has so many businesses and that if his sentence, if the years are too many, that could cripple some of the businesses, and many of the people who are currently employed by Chairman Wontumi's companies may lose their jobs, among other things. But the judge, in her, concluding part of the judgment, said that this is to serve as a deterrent to other people who are currently, involved in illegal mining, and went ahead to give Wontumi, or to sentence Wontumi for 20 years. But it was very interesting, Mami, in court today. In fact, Wontumi himself, in the process of the judgment, whilst Audrey Kokovite was reading the judgment, so he was clearly, shaking his head repeatedly in apparent disapproval of some of the things that the judge was talking about, and he was also consistently looking at the people who were sitting in court and basically, laughing and all of that. So at the moment, it is clear that the court has now made its determination in this particular matter. And Mami, in fact, some of the interesting things that have happened in relation to this particular trial is that the case began in October, with the case management conference, among other things, and Yapiakubi was the lead counsel. He argued in court so many times for Chairman Wontumi. But something unexpected happened just before this particular judgment. Even in May, Mami, when the prosecution brought its witnesses, 4 witnesses, after concluding their evidence, presenting their evidence in court.
Fellow Ghanaians, members of the media, distinguished patrons, good afternoon to all of you. The New Patriotic Party has become aware of the judgment delivered today by the High Court, the case involving our Ashanti Regional Chairman, Mr. Bernard Ntwibo-Siakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. Indeed, we consider the decision of the court as amounting to political imprisonment. Indeed, Chairman Wontumi is a political prisoner. We address you today with profound disappointment, but also with an unwavering commitment to the rule of law, constitutional democracy, and the pursuit of justice. While we respect the authority of our courts, respect for the judiciary does not require silence in the face of a judgment that is fundamentally flawed. Our Constitution guarantees every citizen the right to disagree with judicial decisions and to seek redress through the appellate process. That is precisely what we intend to do as a political party. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our considered view that Chairman Wontumi has been convicted in circumstances where there was no evidence at all to support a conviction in respect of the offense for which he has been convicted. It was never disputed that Chairman Wontumi lawfully acquired his mineral concession. It was never disputed that he lawfully acquired his mineral concession. That fact was established and accepted before the court. The central question was whether that concession had been assigned or transferred in violation of the law. It is our respected view that no evidence was adduced before the court establishing any such assignment or transfer of mineral rights by Chairman Wontumi. The prosecution could not produce any evidence to show that Wontumi had assigned his mineral rights. Instead, the conviction rested on assumptions and inferences which, in our view, could not amount to proof beyond reasonable doubt. That is why we firmly believe that his conviction is a travesty of justice and has to be overturned on appeal. Fellow Ghanaians, equally disturbing is the broader context within which this prosecution has taken place. A troubling pattern is emerging in our country, a pattern where the government appears eager to shield its own while relentlessly pursuing perceived political opponents who have done no wrong. Today, The John Mahama-led NDC government may seek to celebrate this conviction as evidence of its commitment to fight against illegal mining. Where there is evidence of galamsey on a large scale engaged and supervised by leading members of John Mahama's government, we reject that narrative entirely. And I repeat, the New Patriotic Party rejects that narrative entirely. They think that the conviction of Chairman Wontumi will be the trophy to appease the Ghanaian people for their failures. This is no trophy. The Ghanaian people cannot fail to notice that while the political opponents who have done no wrong are being aggressively persecuted.
And it's live here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, that's, Kidi with Lomo Lomo. I don't know what that one means, but hey, we'll check it like that. But look, you could definitely be part of the show this morning. We want to hear from you. You've heard from Samson explaining, the ruling in the Chairman Wontumi case. And if you look at page 28, 29, what the judge is telling you says, look, you could have taken advantage of this. Unfortunately, you did not. And so maybe you could have done a better job, paraphrasing what Samson suggested the judge was saying. Get on to X, use the hashtag JoySMS, tell us what your own thoughts are. And then on WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. But have you heard about the incredible benefits of Exilium from Total Energies? Well, let me tell you more about this premium fuel with its amazing 3-in-1 power. Total Energies has introduced Exilium new formula, the additive enriched fuel with its powerful 3-in-1 action that cleans your engine, extends its life, and lowers your fuel consumption thanks to the cumulative effect of its anti-corrosion, anti-wear, and detergent additives. Exilium new formula also lowers your vehicle's fuel consumption while reducing CO2 emissions. So you drive, sir. Experience the difference with Total Energies Exilium new formula. Choose Exilium. Choose quality.
And if you are looking for phones, mobile phones, accessories, and electronics to buy, Francophone is your leading home. And they have Nokia, Samsung, iPhone, smart TVs, and a whole lot of other things for you to buy. Now, the good thing is that they have a 40% discount for you if you are buying on their digital platforms. You get up to 40% discount if you shop on their digital platform. So download the Franco Trading app. It's called Franco on Google Play Store, or you visit francotrading.com. Franco is still phone papa fie.
And let me tell you more about the Stanbic Bank Visa debit cards cashback offer and discounts. Every tap or swipe deserves a reward, and your Stanbic Bank Visa debit card doesn't just pay, it gives back. Get 5% cashback when you spend 500 Ghana cedis or more at ShopRite or 1,200 at Decathlon. But why stop there? Unlock amazing savings with exclusive discounts from your favorite lifestyle brands. You get 10% off at Bliss Farm Entertainment, 12.5% off at Newbie Salon and Spa, and up to 20% off at Wardrobe Essentials, and up to 50% off Nespresso. Every payment should bring more value. Tap or swipe your Stanbic Visa debit card and bank the moment. Offer ends on the 31st of July. Terms and conditions apply.
And Heritage Christian University, located in Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium, is ensuring that your dream gets a home. At Heritage, you are assured of values-driven education that prepares you for the world of work and challenges you to turn ideas into businesses that feed families and employ communities. So apply to Heritage Christian University today. They have their range of undergraduate and graduate programs. You can find all that at hcu.edu.gh. That is hcu.edu.gh. You can call them on 0547 777731. Heritage Christian University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
And look, that life moves fast, so should your insurance. With Geico Life app managing your life policy, it's now as easy as checking your socials, track your policy, pay premiums, submit claims and download documents all on your phone, anytime, anywhere. No queues, no paperwork, no stress. Just tap, scroll, and you're sorted. Download the Geico Life app now on the Play Store or App Store. Geico, we cushion you for life.
And you need to give your business the competitive edge it deserves at the Dawa Industrial Zone. It's a world-class industrial park spread across 2,000 acres of prime industrial land. They have modern infrastructure, strategic connectivity, and a thriving ecosystem of manufacturers, heavy industries, automotive industries, textile production businesses, logistics companies, food and agro-processing enterprises, and it's all within a well-segmented industrial zone. So if you want to position your business for success in one of West Africa's fastest-growing industrial hubs, you need to make it the Dawa Industrial Zone. Call them on 055-204-0000 today, or you visit diz-ghana.com. The Dawa Industrial Zone is where industry thrives.
And from now till end of October 2026, Bank of Africa is offering short-term loans at very slim rates to salaried workers. Now, they understand you have urgent needs to sort out, and that's why they give you that quick turnaround time. Whether it's school fees, prospectus, car maintenance, or that much-deserved family vacation, the Bank of Africa will sort you out fast. Visit the nearest branch or chat Fafa at boaghana.com to sign up. You may also WhatsApp 0244-338-226 for inquiries. Sometimes all you need is a quick fix. Bank of Africa, strong as a group, as close as a partner. Your security starts with you. If you don't share it, they can't have it. Shine your eyes. This is a fraud alert by Bank of Africa in partnership with the Ghana Association of Banks.
And Milo is there for all of us, especially the children. You know, they leave home very neat. They return looking so different. It means they go out, they explore, they're adventurous, they play, they learn, they get dirty, but they need the energy to go through this phase. So give them the nutritious Milo every day. It contains vitamin D that supports energy release to help their daily performance. Milo is energy to go further.
Now, Omni Basic Bank wants you to know that fraud doesn't wear a mask. And you know why? Because fraud doesn't look suspicious anymore. It can sound polite, seem helpful, urgent, and can even appear to come from someone you trust. But the moment you're asked to share your PIN or one-time password OTP or click a suspicious link, that's your cue to be alert. When in doubt, always pause, think, and verify. Shine your eyes and protect your account. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. For assistance, call 0307 08000. No, 0307 086 Omni Basic Bank, not just another bank.
And if you are planning a trip to Kumasi, download the Oya Bus Ride app today on the Google Play Store or the App Store and discover why your journey should begin on your phone. With the Oya Bus Ride app, you can book your trip from your phone, choose your preferred seat, select your pickup location, track your journey, and even monitor the driver behavior for added peace of mind. No station stress, no unnecessary hassle. Just convenient travel designed around you. Oya Bus Ride, no giddy giddy. Oya, let's go.
And Ghana, time to talk water tanks now. And I'm sure by now you know the secret to real water storage. It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then that's not the correct tank. Because the tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water tanks, strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank. And if it doesn't have the tortoise on it, then you know it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
And Valles Lease Equip Limited is giving you an opportunity to channel your capital into other things instead of buying multifunctional photocopiers. You can just lease and pay as you copy or print, or design your own payment plan. Lease an A4, A3 heavy-duty MFP with sorter, stapler, finisher, production machine with sorter, stapler, finisher, and enjoy free toners and cartridges, free repairs, free maintenance, follow me printing, centralized monitoring of all staff, and also nationwide coverage. And forget about the unnecessary expensive gimmicks and save yourself over 60% of the cost. And there are thousands of satisfied customers across every sector and all the 16 regions who are leasing from Valex Lease. So go to valexlease.com or you give them a call on 0244-644048. Remember, Valex Lease is a wholly owned Ghanaian company and terms and conditions apply.
So Cowbank says, are you still driving across town, letting annoying security men tell you where to park, and joining a queue at the banking or just to do something that takes 2 minutes on your phone? Okay, well, the Cowbank app does everything. I mean, everything. So send money in seconds, pay all your bills, buy airtime, check your balance, all in one place, right from your phone, at any time of the day or night. No queue, no waiting, no stress, okay? If you're waiting for that food order, handle your transfer. On your lunch break, pay your bills. The CalBank app genuinely fits into the gaps within your day. So do yourself a real favor, download the CalBank app today on the App Store or Google Play Store and see what simplified banking actually feels like. CalBank, forward together. Now stay with us. We'll return with sports and birthday messages here on the Super Morning Show. We'll be right back.
Your questions remain unanswered regarding individuals associated with his government, with his party and government who have themselves been publicly linked to illegal mining activities. Indeed, the president himself has acknowledged that person in his administration has followed those admissions. Who are those members of the president party that are engaged in Galamsey, which the president knows of? What has become of the petition submitted to Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, seeking an investigation into allegations concerning Mr. Joseph Yamin, the NDC national organizer, and Abanga Yakubu, vice chairman of the NDC? You are asking these questions. Mr. President, what has become of those investigations? What has happened to Honorable Mohamed Yakubu, NDC MP for Ahafo South, Ahafo South East, and his DC who was sacked from a chief's palace after they alleged that he was heavily involved in Galamsey in their traditional area? What happened to the NDC MP for Aworin, Honorable Oscar Ofori Labi, who was accused by the chiefs and the people of Aworin, as well as Ghana's coalition against Galamsey, for engaging in Galamsey? Why has the nation not witnessed the same level of urgency and determinations in those matters? Justice cannot be selective. And I repeat, justice cannot be selective. The fight against illegal mining cannot become credible only when it targets political opponents in respect of whom evidence of wrongdoing does not exist, while overlooking allegations involving others, especially from the president's own party. Ladies and gentlemen, we also wish to state that Ghana faces far greater than political persecution at a time when our nation is grappling with growing security threats, the devastating impact of illegal mining on our cocoa farmers and farming communities and the areas owned by farmers, the government's inadequate response to recent flooding across the country, and the increasing menace of terrorism within the sub-region, Ghanaians expect leadership that demonstrates urgency, competence, and an unwavering commitment to protecting lives, livelihoods, and national security. No government should attempt to divert public attention from those pressing national concerns through selective prosecutions designed to create the appearance of success. Finally, let me assure all members of the New Patriotic Party and the good people of Ghana that Chairman Wontumi is not alone. There is no justification for the judgment since the judge obviously ignored clear evidence exonerating Wontumi. The New Patriotic Party stands firmly with him. Our legal team has already commenced the necessary steps to challenge his judgment through the appellate process. The MPP considers Wontumi a political prisoner. The MPP...
Welcome back. Time now for birthday messages here on the Super Morning Show, brought to us by
MTN.
Everywhere you go. And Bank of Africa BOA Pay from Bank of Africa offers a hassle-free solution for fee collection and other payments. Call us or chat Fafa at boaghana.com for details. Bank of Africa, strong as a group,
as close as a partner.
And Franco Trading Enterprise, Steel, Phone, Papa. So today is the birthday of Jonathan Echia, who is a CEO, and Ishmael Abe, Head of Business Development, and Anthony Arthur, but also the birthday of Dr. Justice Amo, CEO of Justmore Group of Companies. special good morning to all of you.
And let me say happy birthday to Nene Davis Kobo, Chairman Kobo, Chairman Davis, President of Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. From all of us to you, Davis, happy birthday to you, especially from myself, Marianne, the family to you, happy birthday. And also to Ken Ansa of Multimedia. Today is Ken's birthday.
That's
Our
nice.
boss.
Wow.
Chief Ken. Yes,
and Wache will cry. Happy birthday,
Is it Wache we are
Chief Ken.
buying or Wache he is buying?
That's the question we have to answer.
In Ghana, when it's your birthday,
how many
particularly
penalty you need for the Wache?
particularly if you are a man, when it's your birthday, you do the party. Listen carefully.
So you mean Chief Ken and President Davis should organize a party?
They have to. This is Ghana.
Yes.
When it's your birthday, you do party.
Kofi Edu-Domfe also celebrates his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Today would have been former President John Evans Atamils's birthday too. He was born on the 21st of July, 1944. So he would be 82. He would have been 82 today.
And today is also the birthday of Dr. Mavis Ureku Asari.
Okay, let's get into the Sports Center now. Proudly brought to us by
MTN.
Switch to MTN's eSIM. Download my MTN app to go seamless today. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good. And DSTV, your home of entertainment. High-sense everyday prices for everyday people.
And for over 130 years, Standard Chartered has been more than a bank. They've been a partner in progress. They've helped establish Ghana's financial system. And they have 130 years of heritage to power your ambitions and unlock opportunities. So talk to them today. Standard Chartered, here for good.
Now, sometimes big moments start with small things. A call to a loved one, a Momo transaction to support family, and a bundle to grow your business. But what if they could lead to something bigger than you ever imagined? Well, with MTN our 30 promo, every call, every text, every browse, every Momo transaction, every connection to home fiber and every activity on my MTN app earns you points towards amazing rewards, including 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, over 10 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes, and unforgettable experiences just for you. Because every move counts, dial *530# or use my MTN app to participate now, and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN at 30 promo, make every move count. Terms and conditions apply.
And there's a global business that has a branch almost in every corner of the country, because they want you to get the best when it comes to quality, best when it comes to durability, best for energy efficiency, best for affordability, best for style, best for technology, and it is Hisense. So if you need televisions, refrigerators, chest freezers, air conditioners, TVs, rice cookers, make it Hisense. And they give consumers, their customers, up to a 5-year manufacturer defect warranty on the products they sell. So go to hisense.com.ga, check out what they have. You can call 0302 550000 and ask them for the branch nearest to you, so you go and buy your Hisense products. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram and X, and YouTube for the latest promotions, product launches, and exciting offers. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
And today is also the birthday of Carlos, who's listening to us all the way in Johannesburg. So happy birthday to you, Carlos. Time now for the Business Minute. Sports would come your way later, but time for the Business Minute, brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana. CBG, we stand with you. Anointed Engineering Services, the generator experts. Palladium Residences, live smart, invest better. SkySat Technologies, performance that delivers every time. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Anointed Engineering Services Limited, the generator experts. The city has come under renewed pressure as demand for foreign exchange from businesses continues to outstrip market supply. Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Siama has warned that rising transport costs, together with expected increases in transport fares and utility tariffs, could push inflation higher in the coming months. He made the remarks while opening the Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Monday. Traders are urging Finance Minister Dr. Kansela to force him to fulfill his promise to review VAT rules and port duties in the mid-year budget review, arguing that the measures would lower the cost of doing business and help contain inflation. And US President Donald Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on a range of Canadian imports, including wine, hockey sticks, and cement, citing what he described as unfair treatment of US cars, dairy products, and alcohol. And that's the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Anointed Engineering Services Limited, the generator experts.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And that was the Business Minute, brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you. Anointed Engineering Services, the generator experts. Palladium Residences, live smart, invest better. SkyStar Technologies, performance that delivers every time. And Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
And Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited invites you to the 6th Women in Trade and Investment Conference 2026 from July 29 to 31, 2026 at the CBG SME Center, Blackmore at Kokomlemle near Paloma Hotel from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. It's under the theme Financial Avenues for Women Entrepreneurs, and it's your chance to connect and join a movement that supports women in trade. You can call 0302-216-000 or email talk to us at cbg.com.gh for more information. And you also experience the joy of shopping with fantastic offers on a variety of products from over 70 dynamic SMEs across the country, all under one roof. So tell a friend to tell a friend. CBG, we stand with you.
And you know, Anointed Engineering Services Limited, now they're into the sale of ultra-silent, fuel-efficient diesel generating sets with sizes ranging from 5 kVA to 3,000 kVA at competitive prices. And for every generator you acquire, you'll enjoy a 5-year warranty. You also undertake maintenance and repairs of all kinds of diesel generating sets. Their services include a 24-hour emergency service, sale of genuine spare parts, reliable rental service, professional advice, sale of tire lights and rental. Locate their East Legon branch at 26 Boundary Road, Legon, close to AH Hotel, and head office at number 77 Anointed House on the main Odoko Malam Highway, near the Odoko traffic light. They also have 21 branches nationwide, and they're into skill training. They have a training school that trains students in generators and plants, auto mechanics, electricals and controls, and solar installations. They offer 80% hands-on training and 20% theory. So call them on 0243 480 334 or 0246 423534. Anointed, the generator experts.
So let me say happy birthday to Madam Charity Akoto. May God bless you with many more years of good health, joy and fulfillment. May you live long to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And may you continue to grow in wisdom, strength, and abundance. May your days be filled with peace, love, and countless blessings from your children, Johnson, Emmanuel, and our own producer, Sandra. Madam Charity is Sandra's mother. So happy birthday to you, Madam Charity. And happy birthday to Madam Irene Efi Opon, aka Auntie Kakra. You're listening to us in London. Today is your birthday. From all your children and family members. Now, you know, you work hard and you deserve a home that actually reflects that effort. It's time to upgrade your lifestyle at Palladium Residences in Achimota. It's a community which is stunning. It's a very stunning community at the ABC Junction, just minutes from the Achimota Mall. Discover beautifully designed modern apartments and spacious townhouses offering the perfect private sanctuary. Plus, you enjoy unmatched amenities like a premium clubhouse, a fully equipped gym, and an incredible on-site hotel. Move fast during this limited launch phase. You can secure your dream home with just a 10% deposit. So book early for exclusive pricing, priority unit selection, and highly flexible payment options. Book your private site tour today. Call 0509 823 424. That's 0509 823 424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
Let's get interactive this morning. Join us on X. Use the hashtag JoySMS. Then on WhatsApp 05511119997. Social media messages here on the Super Morning Show. Brought to us by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, number 10 Liver Salt, a refreshing relief, and Cowbell Coffee with you every moment.
And do you know how money really moves in Ghana? EcoBank knows it. EcoBank understands it. And EcoBank knows that money doesn't move only on payday. It moves every day, connecting Ghanaians with their families, communities, and businesses. It's airtime sent to a sister. It's transport money for dad. And money is more than a transaction. It's people supporting people, families helping families, and communities moving forward together. That's why there is EcoBank, a bank built for the way Ghanaians and Africans move money. With one seamless banking experience across 34 African countries, EcoBank digital platforms connect people, businesses, and opportunities in Ghana and across the continent. So pay your bills, transfer money, access ATM services, manage your finances anytime, anywhere with the EcoBank mobile app. Or you can use the USSD star 770 hash, the EcoBank online platform, and EcoBank's ATMs nationwide. EcoBank is indeed the Pan-African Bank.
And so this morning, tell us what you make of, the sentencing of Chairman Wontumi. Do you say, well, that's fair? Or you say 20 years, dear? A dozen dodo. Well, some say probably 25 years. Ken Ashikbe and Co say he should have just had the maximum sentence. What do you say? Do you say maybe the minimum?
I need the lawyers listening to us to give me some education and some perspective. The ruling or the judgments basically say that Wontumi and Akoto Mining are one and the same because of the way the company is structured. If that is the case, Akoto Mining and Wontumi have made a lot of money, right, through his operations or their operations. We know environmental degradation is one of the biggest challenges in the state, which we need funding for. If he's been found guilty of engaging or enabling that to happen, can the state, beyond this judgment, further seek to maybe freeze its assets and get more value for us to use to reclaim lands that have been destroyed through their operations? Because the 15,000 penalty units and the 10,000, when I calculated it, Charlie, ain't me to fuel.
Well, let's get into big stories. We'll find out. We'll find out what can be done. But as at now, as we speak, based on the judgment, the things that were seized are forfeited to the state.
Yeah,
it doesn't go on to in accordance with the Minerals and Mining and Minerals Act.
Yeah, but my point is, land has been degraded. Large swaths of land have been degraded, right? And it cost millions of cedis and dollars to reclaim and restore these lands. So beyond incarceration in the prison, beyond seizing equipment and the penalties, right, the fines, can the state pursue any other avenues when it comes to its assets or the assets of any other person who will be arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced later to help us reclaim the lands and the water bodies we've destroyed?
Okay. We'll talk about that later. Let's get into big stories brought to us by Telecel Connecting Energies, Lancaster University, Ghana, the only British university campus in West Africa, and Awake Natural Mineral Water, one for life.
And every day your body needs clean, refreshing water. Awake Water is carefully produced to keep you refreshed and hydrated, purified, refreshing, and purpose-driven. Now, through the One for Life campaign, Awake supports people living with various cardiovascular diseases, where every bottle you drink, an amount is donated to the National Cardio Center at Kolebu. So drink water, drink Awake. It's proudly produced by Casapreco PLC, and Awake purified drinking water is indeed one for life.
And travelers, the days of switching off your data when you travel are over. Telecel World Plus roaming bundles give you unmatched value and the best rates across up to 100 countries, including every country in Africa. So no more landing in a new country and worrying about how to order a ride. Find your hotel, navigate a new city, or stay in touch with family and friends. No more hunting for local SIM cards. No more fear of expensive roaming charges. With rates from just 0.09 pesos per megabyte and incredible value on voice and data, Telecel World Plus roaming bundles keep you connected from the moment you land. So whether you're traveling for business, on holiday, or following the excitement of the World Cup, well, we're done with that now. You can stay connected with confidence wherever you go. Dial *5959# or activate your bundle on Telecel Play app today. Telecel, connecting energies.
When we were younger and our parents and uncles used to say they had body pains, back pain, shoulder aches, knee problems, waist pains, we used to laugh at them. We are now getting there. And for a lot of people, it's not because you are aging. For a lot of people, the mattress you sleep on, the chairs you use, and the various things when it comes to your furnishing actually contributes to all these body pains and the discomfort. So make it Latex Foam if you think of mattresses. Latex Foam is your partner for life. They are tried and tested. We've known them for almost 60 years. They offer unmatched quality and durability for every Ghanaian home. So make the smart choice today. Talk to Latex Foam on 0302 231155 in Accra and 032 202 9365 in Kumasi for all your inquiries. You can also go to their website, latexfoamghana.com, and their social media platforms, and you see all the things that they have on offer for you. Do not settle for less. Go for quality. Buy Latex Foam, or else you just do yourself. Latex Foam is your partner for life.
Time for sports now. Achu's here. Achu.
Winston, good morning. And welcome aboard to the Joy Sports Center. We're going to start with matters relating to Ghana's women's national team, the Black Queens, who continued preparations for the Women's African Cup of Nations with a goalless draw against Tanzania in Casablanca last night. The Queens dominated the game. In fact, they created the better chances but simply could not find a way past the disciplined Tanzanian defense. Here's head coach Kim Lassie-Okegrin.
I think it's a decent first half. Good defense. I wish we created a little bit more chances. I think in the second half we start much better. We found the zone 2 more often. And I think in the end of the game we also had a good, strong final push, but not good enough to win today. A couple of situations when we had opportunity to score, we were lacking a little bit of quality. But it was a good game for us. We had the opportunity today to rotate the squad a lot as well. So I think we played with 18 or 19 players. So that was a good thing for us.
Black Queens head coach Kim Lassie-Okegrin. He will be leading the technical team when the tournament starts on Sunday and when the Queens take on Cape Verde on Wednesday. Well, last night was the second preparatory game where the Queens had played. In both cases, they had failed to win. Earlier, they drew goalless with Cote d'Ivoire, and last night again with Tanzania. Now, speaking of the backroom staff, it has been bolstered significantly. Swedish trainer Pierre Persson is joining from Finnish club Alan United, and he'll be an assistant coach alongside Anita Redu. Here's Persson explaining his role.
Yeah, we'll work as an assistant coach and have a lot of responsibility about the passing drills and the possession, and work close with our other assistant coach, Anita. I think I have some good experience in that, and I think that could be a good complement to the head coach. I think high demand and also working really good with the passing combinations, and also develop the possession in the training, and also the tactics. I have a lot of experience about that also, so I could be...
Oh, he is not the only one. His compatriot James Slaughter also arrives to spearhead video analysis department with the Black Queens, and his job will be to break down opposition data and providing real-time statistical supports.
So I'm from Malmö, and the biggest club in Sweden, and one of the biggest ones in Scandinavia. And I started working there when I was 16, just with recording the games. But then I made a journey in the club, and in the end I was the lead of performance analysis in the team. First of all, I love to work in a team, and I love to work in football, and I think it's the biggest honor you can have to represent a country, and especially a beautiful country like Ghana. And I have some old colleagues who have worked with a men's team, and they have explained the whole culture and everything around the team, and how many great people work with football in Ghana.
So there's Pierre Persson, James Slaughter, Anita Redu, and then there's Frank Peterson, who joins as goalkeepers coach. He says he's looking forward to helping the Queens improve their third place finish from the last tournament.
I will say I know a little bit about the culture in Ghana. I've been working for FC Nordsjælland, Right to Dream in Denmark, and also know some of the players in the squad from Denmark. So it's not new for me, but it's new to be full-time, 100% connected to Ghanaian football. I'm here in the short term to make some good results. In the long term, and we already now started with small steps to develop the goalkeepers.
So there's your new additions to the Black Queens coaching staff. Frank Peterson, goalkeepers trainer. Then you've got James Slaughter, who is here to do video analysis for the Black Queens, and of course the main assistant who's joining Pierre Persson. There's Anita Redu as well, who will be one of the assistants to Kim Lassie-Okegrin. As I said, the Queens begin their campaign on Wednesday in Group D on the 29th of this month. Before 4 days later, they will take on Cameroon, and then 3 days later, they wrap up the group stage campaign against Mali. in Morocco. Let's talk club football. Kumasi Asante Kotoko on Monday outdoored their new manager, Eric Tinkler, who is a former AFCON winner, was part of the South African team that won the AFCON in '96, recently coached in South Africa with Orlando Pirates Super Sport United, who he famously led them to the CAF Confederations Cup final. He's been speaking about the wealth of experience he brings to Kotoko, but also his pride at getting such a glamorous job.
I want to tell the fans, players, the staff, the chairman, that I'm a very ambitious coach. I come here with passion, desire to achieve and win things. Asante is a massive club on the African continent, and we want to bring back the glory to the football club. That'll be my primary objective, my primary target, but at the same time, it's about developing for the future, making sure that historical club of Asante Kotoko continues to produce fantastic footballers that can represent their national team. Obviously, I played at a high level, both in Europe and in Africa. I coached quite a few teams, obviously in South Africa, been involved in CAF Champions League, been involved in CAF Confed tournaments, won quite a few cup competitions in South Africa. So hopefully I can bring that success to Asante Kotoko.
That's Eric Tinkler. He's the head coach at Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Very experienced manager with a pretty impressive CV taking that job. Look, last night there were...
is it Eric Tinkler of Bafana Bafana?
Yes.
Oh.
The AFCON winning Eric Tinkler.
Oh, 96?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Last night there were up to 2 million spectators in the streets or on the streets as Spain decided or began their World Cup trophy celebrations, and it was a beautiful sight to behold as they won their second FIFA World Cup.
You said it. You predicted a Spanish victory.
Yes.
You did well.
No surprises there. No surprises there. Before we go though, while Spain are celebrating their second World Cup title, four-time champions Italy are looking to recruit one Spanish coach, Pep Guardiola. Yesterday, Maldini, who is the technical director for the Italian Football Federation, made contact with him, and they have open talks about the possibility of hiring the former Manchester City manager to lead the club, to lead the country into the European qualifiers.
A quick one, before you go. There's something that Spain did. De La Fuente, you say he was under 17 coach,
under 19, under 21 Olympic team
coach
before
he became the national team coach.
Yes.
So you can see that they actually, this man was coaching the junior teams, and he starts with under 19, takes them to under 21, takes them to under 23, and now brings them to the national team, and gets other players to join. So this is a team that really...
about 70% of the squad, he coached them at one youth national team or the other.
Okay.
So in 2015, the under-19 team that he coached had Mikel Oyarzabal, it had Mikel Merino, it had Rodri, and then Unai Simon, the goalkeeper.
That's 2015.
2015,
okay.
The under-19 team. Then 4 years later, the under-21 team had these four, joined by Fabian Ruiz, joined by Dani Olmo as well for that competition. Oyarzabal is retained. Then you had Ferran Torres as well. Then for the Olympic team, you then had the fullbacks also joining. So, in fact, for the 2019, Eric Garcia was part of that group. But for the Olympic team, Cucurella had joined. Then Pedro Porro had also joined. He coached Kubasi, I think, a few years ago. Then the midfield options, Zubimendi, part of the Olympic team. Then even Pedri, part of that group. So and the curious thing is, between 2014 and 2021, the national team was not doing well. In fact, they went to 2 World Cups and didn't win a single knockout game. But all the while, they stayed the course with that youth program they were running with one man and the same generation of players.
So we can do same.
Oh, we've done that in the past too. So this is not even something that you can call the GFA and say, look at what others are doing. The conversation should be, go back to what served you well. Because if you look back to the team that qualified Ghana to the World Cup in 2006, our very first World Cup, the entire group was dominated by your...
Satellites 2001.
And even the New Zealand 99, before Ecuador, the tournament in Ecuador, before that 97, before that 91. So the decade before, Ghana had produced a golden generation of youth talents, the bulk of whom had grown to form the nucleus of the national team. So, but of course, everyone loves to remember 2001.
Yes.
That satellites team, because that's where Paintel, Mensah, ACN, Sule, all of them came from. But essentially, every member of that 2002, in fact, Steve Napier was captain, played at 2 under-17 tournaments in the 90s and then 1 under-20 tournament before. But essentially, every member of that group had played in multiple youth tournaments, just like we're talking about Spain. The only difference will be that for Spain, it is one coach who took charge for about a decade or so. But when it comes to the Spanish lessons, yes, what we should say is that it is a reminder to us about what we used to do, what served us well, right? Because even for the team that qualified us for the 2010 World Cup, after the 2010 World Cup, the team that took us to the subsequent tournaments, again, it was the same. It was your under 17.
2009, yeah.
Yes, it was your under 17 from 2006, 2007, then under 20, 2009, 2010, the under 20 of 2012, 2013. Those were the teams that took us to the next 3 AFCON semi-finals.
Okay. Aju, thank you very much. But coming up, our friends from the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, are joining us. And today is a very important conversation. So for all of you who have concerns about vehicle valuation and clearance, this is your show. And keep your questions coming, okay? Join us on WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. Right after these messages, our friends from GRA are joining us for a conversation on how they value vehicles and the clearance process. We'll be right back.
Considers Wontumi a political prisoner. The MPP as a political party considers Wontumi a political prisoner. Thank you very much. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. We do the tree one.
Chairman Wontumi is beginning his first night in prison, and he is going to be there for 20 long years. Unless, of course, he manages to go on a successful appeal. That is going to be his reality. His sleeping place is changed from the comfort of his room and his bedroom to a small cell at any of our prisons across the country, and most likely maybe sharing that cell with other convicts. So he is a convicted criminal, the Ashanti regional chairman of the party, a man who recently declared he wants to lead the opposition New Patriotic Party as his national chairman. Tonight is in prison, and it's been 9 months, 14 days since that trial began, and it's been very quick indeed, all things considered, looking at how slow our judicial system is in dealing with some cases. But this has to do with illegal money, a campaign that we've been waging for years. First time in a long time that we've had a kingpin convicted of such a serious crime. The last time I remember a kingpin was convicted was Aisha 1. But as far as the local players are concerned and the politicians that we know are involved in illegal money are concerned, this is the first time it's played out. And this should send shockwaves throughout the political divide, both NDC and MPP, PNC and all the smaller political parties, for all those who are involved in legal mining. There is a judgment, there is accountability waiting for you somewhere, sometime. And we'll hear what the MPP has been saying about this pretty shortly. They believe he's a political prisoner, but we'll look at the evidence. And remember, this is a story that we broke here at Journey. I'm not talking about the conviction, the judgment. I'm talking about the substantive matter, the involvement of a contact mining in illegal mining in Galamsey. We broke that story. My colleague Erastus Osari Donko, and it's for no reason that he was recently adjudged the GJA Journalist of the Year. This is his work. This is relentless journalism, putting his life on the line, and we applaud him. The court says that work that he did is valid, is enough evidence, of course, that the state of Yankson did other work that they've done to show that indeed Wontumi is a Akoto mining, and himself as a director and shareholder was guilty. Now, we also know that the 20 years is what he's going to be serving. His lawyers have already told us today that they will be appealing. In fact, if you read the judgment is already out. Find it and read it. Very fascinating indeed. The judge actually gave them a path to an appeal when she decided to throw out their pleadings to her to refer the matter, parts of the matter to the Supreme Court. It says she won't do so, and that they should simply, if they feel aggrieved at her understanding of the law, which it says it doesn't lend itself to ambiguity and it's plain and simple, they have a right to go and appeal on that basis. She mentions that in that judgment, and that's fascinating, and they read it. And so they have that path there to do so, but he's going to go in 20 years unless they are successful on appeal. And the judge was clear. The judge had this range of 15 to 25 years and gave him 20 and said it is the gravity of the offense, but she also wanted deterrence. And that is indeed what she's delivered today. Deterrence. Is it deterrence enough? The civil society groups involved in this campaign already are telling us that it isn't good enough. They wanted the full 25 years handed down to the man, the convicted criminal, Chairman Wontumi. We'll see. We'll discuss that very pretty shortly on what this means. So there are two main offenses that he was looking at in terms of what he had done, for which reason he's gone to jail. One is permitting a third party to conduct mining on the concession without authorization. And that is fascinating. And when we go into the judgment, you will find this is fascinating. And this all started because there was a raid on the back of the Joy News work that we did and the investigations. We flew drones and we saw the devastation. And so the national security operatives led by the military did this raid. And when they conducted the raid, they arrested one individual who was a supervisor. One AEC was supervising 28 others. And they were staying in Akoto mining structures and conducting mining. They were doing two things, and this is not challenged. Both the prosecution witnesses said so. Wontumi himself in his evidence said one part of it. One was reclamation, which is Wontumi's line that he gave the concession out to one of the parties called Henry, who had represented himself to him as a mine services provider. But the man himself before court said he is a small-scale miner. Wontumi, in his testimony before the court, says he didn't know that the man was primarily involved in small-scale mining. We'll come to that. There's a lot of evidence here that the judge had to weigh in the fascinating piece of judgment you delivered today. But when that individual was arrested on that site, on the back of the Joy News work, he said he was just simply supervising the work on behalf of one Henry. Henry was the man who dealt directly with Wontumi, and Wontumi gave him the permission, the permit, Wontumi claims, to do reclamation, plant coconut, on the part of the concession that had already been degraded after years of mining. And that he did not give the concession to him to conduct mining. But the man says, well, I was asked to do reclamation, but I was also asked to do mining. And Wontumi knew that I was going to do mining, and he gave it to me to conduct mining. And another interesting point, the investigations actually proved that they were giving that concession by Wontumi to do the reclamation, but also to do mining. So really, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it is it came without approval, because the minister ought to approve. And if that didn't happen, that is illegal mining. That is illegal mining. And so that is exactly what they were doing. And then we found evidence that, yes, what they were doing was destroying the environment. So they were facilitating unlicensed mining operations. So simply, these are the two reasons why the man is behind bars tonight and is going to be there for 20 years unless he succeeds on appeal. Fascinating, is it not? This is the evidence. This is what we found. This is the visual representation of what Wontumi and his Akoto mining and those accomplices who turned out now to be prosecution witness.
I got the fine thing. Me, I got the fine thing. My baby fine. I tell you this one be the fine. Every woman is a superwoman. Every woman is a champion. We know be nobody. If them know they our body. Yeah.
Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
And you're still live here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. So, before the break, I told you that our friends from GRA, by this time around Customs Division, are going to be joining us for a very, very important conversation, okay? Vehicle valuation and clearance. And I know there are many of you who have concerns when it comes to this. You're asking, Mommy, I bought my car at this price. Why are you using a different price to calculate the, duties and other taxes and everything? No problem. And there are some of you who would calculate the duty and say, but the duty is supposed to be this percentage. I look at it and that's not the percentage that I'm paying. Don't worry. We're going to break everything down for you. Plus, you get a chance to ask all your questions, okay? So you can join us on X, use the hashtag JoySMS. Then on WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. And this morning, we've been joined by Emilia Ewenam Ankra, who is a Principal Revenue Officer, Safeborn Car Terminal Tema, and Daniel Kwamin is Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. Good morning, Emilia. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
I believe you are all doing well.
Yes. Very well.
Good. We'll get into the conversation shortly. But, Mommy, Daddy, quick question. Do you know why children leave home looking very neat and return looking so different? Well, I'll tell you. Non-stop action, all the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show that your kid has been very active. And that's why they need nourishment and energy at breakfast. So give them the nutritious Milo every day. Milo contains vitamin D that supports energy release to help their daily performance. Milo, energy to go further. And this is FDA approved. But going green is not just about saving the planet. It can save you real money, install solar panels, and cut down your power costs. Get an electric vehicle and reduce what you spend getting around. Switch to energy-efficient equipment and lower the cost of running your home or business. And the best part, Absa Bank can help you finance all of it. The Absa Green Finance Loan gives you what you need to make it happen. Walk into any Absa branch, ask about the Absa Green Finance Loan today, and say yes to a greener tomorrow. Terms and conditions apply. Absa Bank reminds you to shine your eye to avoid being scammed. Your story matters. Absa. And look, I love a cry, but sometimes you just need a break from the city chaos. But who wants to spend 4 hours in traffic just to escape? I've got the perfect fix. Best Western Plaza Accra Beach Hotel in Nungwa. It's right by the ocean. Imagine waking up to fresh sea breeze, a complimentary breakfast, relaxing by the pool, and just resetting. For a staycation, business, or beachside events, this is the spot, and they're running a massive limited time offer. Book 2 nights and get a 3rd night for free. Yes, a whole extra night on them. Lock in your escape right now. Call 0596-723646. That's 0596-723646. Or visit bestwesternplazaccra.com. Best Western Plaza Accra Beach Hotel. Your escape closer than you think. But if you need fuel, make the smart stop at Star Oil, Ghana's largest oil marketing company. because with over 240 stations nationwide, Star Oil gives you high-quality fuel, great service, and real value for money. And this is why many Ghanaians are switching to Star Oil. And with a Star card, you can enjoy safe, cashless fueling and easy expense tracking. Wherever you go, choose Star Oil for your quality and affordable fuel. But of course, during the World Cup, you were talking about, missed passes, bad referee decisions. Yeah, we all feel the heat when our team drops points. But parents, while we stress over football, what's the game plan for the kids at home? Don't let their grades suffer. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing. So from preschool to senior high school, we have the exact tactical formation they need to ace their classes, okay? Because it's World Cup season, Pegasus is giving a massive 20% off every single book. Parents, don't drop points. Call 0595-010-175, 0595-010-175, or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite Total Energies. Call now for free delivery in Accra. Pegasus, shaping mind, winning futures. But this morning, the Ghana Revenue Authority is embarking on intensive radio tax education campaign dubbed GRA Connect. And the aim of the campaign is to educate taxpayers and the general public about the authority's mandate, rights and obligations of taxpayers, and generally the taxes and duties it collects. The information will be shared in a simple and, as you know, easy to understand manner. Today's session focuses on vehicle valuation and clearance. And as I indicated, Emilia Ewanamankra, Principal Revenue Officer, Safeborn Car Terminal Tema, and Daniel Kwamintem, Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. Good morning once again, and let's get into it straight away. What is the first step in importing a vehicle into Ghana? So I want to import a vehicle into Ghana. What should be the first step that I take?
Okay. Good morning to our listeners.
Good morning.
We are glad to have you listening to us explain to our understanding vehicle valuation, anything concerning vehicle. So now the question is, I'm trying to bring a vehicle from outside the country. What do I do? Or the things that need to be done. One, ensure you have someone out there to buy you the vehicle, a trusted person. That when you give the money out to you, the person is going to squander your money. That is one. Two, ensure the vehicle you are buying is not a stolen vehicle.
How do I know it's not a stolen vehicle?
Exactly, I'm getting there. We cannot 100% say that this is what you're going to do ABCD to ensure you're not importing a stolen vehicle. But to a large extent, ensure you are getting a document called Certificate of Title. This document is what is prepared by the government of the exporting country.
Okay.
Ensuring that the vehicle has gone through their system and given it out to whoever is buying to leave the country of exportation.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
And here, pardon me, but I need to get the clarification.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I'm buying a vehicle from the US.
Yeah.
I need to get a document from the US stating that this vehicle is not a stolen vehicle.
You need to check there before you move the vehicle out.
How do I do that?
So they have an institution there. Whoever is doing the buying for you must key in as the specific chassis number into the system. If it is a stolen vehicle, it will flag. So it is now the duty of whoever is buying the vehicle for you in the country of exportation to ensure that the vehicle is not stolen vehicle.
Okay.
Another way of checking is also insisting on getting what you call the certificate of title. I am not saying to get the certificate of title automatically means that the vehicle in question is not stolen. But to a large extent, once you have the certificate of title, it's supposed to mean that you've gone through the rudiment of the law to get the ownership of the car transferred to you, the buyer.
Okay.
That is two. Now, the third one is another aspect of the documentation, which is getting the BL, a document called Bill of Lading. The Bill of Lading is an extract of the manifest. The manifest, we will understand, is a document that the shipper gives to whoever owns a cargo in the conveyance. Now, when you own the car, putting it on the conveyance, an extract of that particular manifest will be given to you. It's a manifestation that you are the owner of the car that you are exporting or bringing from the country of exportation to the country of importation. So when you have this document, to a large extent, we've been able to establish that the car is yours. The BL should have your details, your name, your address, to signify that that is what you have bought and that's what you are bringing. That same details are going to be used when you get to Ghana, the country of importation,
Okay.
to clear the vehicle.
Okay.
So basically, these are the things that you need to do out there before you even start bringing the car into the country of importation, Ghana.
So let's say that the country has got to Ghana now.
Yes.
I mean, you've tracked, the shipping line, everything. You know that, now the country is in Ghana. I want to go and clear my vehicle.
Yeah.
First of all, what documents are required to clear an imported vehicle?
Okay. So I will take this in two versions. A vehicle can be new or used. And depending on each state, would demand or call for specific documents. If the vehicle is new, we need an invoice. And then also the bill of lading.
An invoice from where?
From the country of exportation, where you bought the vehicle from. If the vehicle is used, then you have to attach the certificate of title, which I've mentioned, the bill of lading. That should be enough to do the clearing if the vehicle is a used one.
Okay, good. So now that we've, settled on the documents that we need, most of the time when we import vehicles, people start asking, do you know of any clearing agent? Must I necessarily use a clearing agent, or I can clear my vehicle without an agent?
Thank you very much. You can clear your vehicle without a clearing agent. We call something self-declarant. Before you become a self-declarant, you need to register with GRA and get the necessary training. Then you can work
I need to get the training.
Yes, you have to be trained because the clearing is a process. You have to learn how we go about our processes. And the processes are a lot, so you go through training so that when at the clearance process, you wouldn't be making mistakes.
But I've just imported a vehicle, and I'm thinking maybe I could do it myself. I need training. I might as well use a clearing agent.
It is easier that way because they are trained to do that work, and sometimes the work can be cumbersome. So when you pick their service, it's very easy.
So let's say the vehicle is now in Tema.
Okay.
Can you walk us through what happens at the port after vehicle assessment has been completed?
Okay. So the assessment is done at the valuation center. By then, there will be classification done, valuation will be done. So when it is done...
And please, whatever you say, you break it down. Classification,
and
valuation. What will be done? So when you say classification, what happens? Valuation, what happens?
Okay, so when a vehicle is presented, when the declarant slot in the application to get duty to be paid on a vehicle, it goes through rudiments of processes. The first stage is the classification step. Now, when we say classification, it's an act of assigning a tax rate to the particular vehicle. What do we do in classifying a vehicle? When a vehicle comes, the vehicle has its own unique identity, which is the VIN, the vehicle identification number, or the chassis number. This chassis...
What we normally call chassis number.
Exactly. That is decoded. When we decode it, we look out for certain information. These informations are, we're looking for the fuel type. Is it diesel? Is it petrol? Is it electric or hybrid? After being able to establish that, we also look out for the age. Which year was this vehicle manufactured? We look out for the seating capacity. If the vehicle is a bus, it has a direct toe on the classification. If the vehicle is an head, you are able to determine through the decoding. After you have been able to decode, it aids you in classifying. Heads, for instance, when you go to the HS, you are looking at 8701. When we are classifying passenger vehicle, we are looking at 8703. If it is a bus carrying individuals from one place to the other, we are looking at 8702. So the type of a vehicle would determine where the classification will be done, considering all these areas I have mentioned: the vehicle type, the fuel type, the cubic capacity. Is it 1.0? Is it 3.0? Is it diesel? Is it petrol? Is it hybrid? Is it electric? Now, after all this are taken into consideration, then we are able to give a concrete classification of that vehicle. We do this in order to ascertain the rate. We have 5 tax bands. It could be 0, 5%, 10%, 20%. The classification will be able to tell us that this vehicle, the tax rate should be 5 or 10. We don't just look at the vehicle and say, oh, this vehicle is nice. It's been brought by Kwekumenu, so the rate should be 20%. It is through the classification that we are able to arrive at the rate. After that is done, they will now move on to the valuation.
So after the valuation, that is when the clearance process starts. The importer pays the duty at the designated banks. Then after that, the declarant, in this case, we normally call them clearing agents, but we call them declarants. They will go to the shipping line and cater for their liabilities, pay for the liabilities, then the shipping line will release them. After that, they will do something we call service request, meaning you are requesting items to give you a custom officer to work on the BOE. That's the bill of entry, the customs document that you hold when you are going to DVLA. Then after that, the agent moves to our field officers. They are custom officers that are specially trained to identify vehicles. So they will go and do physical check, because at the point of valuation and classification, they were basing their valuation on only documentation. So these people are going to do physical check to confirm the make. Let's say you are clearing Toyota Corolla. In this case, the make is the Toyota. Then you are talking of the model Corolla. Then they confirm the age, the chassis, the CC, the trim or the special feature. Then the fuel type. Then after that, they will input same in the system, and that will open the system for the examination officers. They will then do examination. By doing examination, they are comparing what the markets have seen physically with what the documentation that the declarant has produced.
Okay. We're going to go for a quick break. But before we do that, because we're learning, okay, and Daniel and Tem, you talked about, the classification would then determine the rate that you put on it, whether 5%, 10%. I want us to do something. I want to return after these messages. I want you to tell us at what point it is 5, at what point it is 10, and at what point it is 20. And the reason I'm asking you to do this, so that whoever is listening to us this morning, when the person imports a vehicle, he knows the vehicle. So when you know the money you have, you know the kind of vehicle you can import in based on the classification and how much duty or total liabilities you have due you.
Yes.
So you get it. So stay with us. This morning we've been joined by Emilia Ewanam Ankra, who is Principal Revenue Officer, Safe Bond Car Terminal in Tema, and Daniel Kwamentem, Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. I'm having a conversation about vehicle valuation and clearance because you've raised these concerns over and over again. When we return after these messages, Daniel Kwamentem, who is a Senior Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, will take us through, how they come by the rates, and then we'll continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
Is dead to that part of the Summer Boy area. You just see the picture. It says everything. Everything you need to know about how devastating it was to the environment. And now Summer Boy is now subject and an area that has been swept by floods. Why? Partly because of this, but also that river there, that served the communities, have completely been destroyed because of the work that Wontumi is doing. I'm not done over the years. We have to speak now with certainty because a court of competent jurisdiction has pronounced him guilty. There are no alleged suspected anymore. He is a convict, a convicted, illegal, small-scale miner. He was facilitating it, and he was giving concessions away to people to do so. That's what the court says, unless somebody sets this aside. It is the word of the law. And this is what happened. And again, we applaud Erastus for the work that he did in putting this out. But another part of this that is also fascinating is that this Wontumi illegality, criminal act, was flagged by the MPP itself. The MPP government flagged him. The minister you see in the shot, Samuel Abujidapo, when he was the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, flagged Akoto Mining's illegal activities. And it was clear. This, he says, any alleged activity, and this is on the back of the work, the investigations that Erastus was doing, any alleged activity being undertaken by Akoto in that forest reserve is illegal. It's illegal. So the MPP government itself, their own minister, had flagged the work of Akoto Mining in a forest reserve as being illegal. On the say-so of the minister, who must authorize any mining, he should have been prosecuted long ago. Long ago. On the back of this, civil society actors like Kenashigbe and others filed a petition to the Attorney General, to the CID, to the police and say, your own minister, your own government says Akoto Mining is involved in illegal mining. You know what happened? Nothing. So this is evidence that the MPP government itself at the time, their principal agent for approving licenses and concessions for mining, came to a conclusion that Akoto Mining, which is owned by Wontumi, is a shareholder, is a director, was engaged in illegal mining. So you have to juxtapose this against what the party is saying today at the press conference, because they have to ask these questions. And Mr. Jinapong was here a week or two ago, and I put that question to him. He didn't want to be drawn into the matter so deeply because, of course, it was before the course. But he said as much, that as far as he's concerned, what he knew then to be fact is what he communicated, which was this. And note the date. This was something that he did on the 30th of September 2022. I'm highlighting that because a year later, the man who appointed the minister, then publicly, less than a year, January 4th, 2023, said something entirely different to the whole nation. Akufo-Addo, his subordinate, his appointee says they were involved in illegal mining. Few months later, the boss himself is clearing Akoto Mining. Akoto Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana, he said. See the contradiction there. But that, again, is a failing of him. The minister flagged it. But when the president said this, do you think that the CID, the Attorney General, will move a limb to prosecute when the boss has cleared them even before any proper investigations is done? And no wonder nothing happened until the raid in October of 2025 led to the arrest of these two gentlemen, who then pointed a finger back at the same gentleman called Wontumi, Chairman Wontumi, who is now behind bars and is gone for 20 years. So, of course, he can appeal, and we'll see whether there's a clear path to appeal. And as I said, the judgment itself had mentioned that path, so we'll see whether they have that path and how grounded that path could be when we sit down for a conversation. And then his defense in court was fascinating. I've mentioned bits of this. He did not deny the fact that he gave out this permit, his own permit, to others to mine on the concession or to do some activity on the concession without the authorization of the minister, which the law requires. He didn't deny that, but he says it was for reclamation, planting coconut. So authorization, denied authorizing mining. He was clear that what he didn't do was to ask them and authorize them to mine. He didn't do that. It was very clear that he didn't do that, right? And that the Akoto Mining awaited parliamentary approval, ratification. He said he was waiting for that. And that Henry Okum was the gentleman who, by the way, testified for the state. He was the prosecution witness in the matter. The man who dealt directly with Wontumi and said Wontumi gave him, he said Wontumi gave him the right, the permission to mine. Wontumi says, I didn't. I told you to reclaim. Well, he says he handled land reclamation, which is the point that Wontumi was making, and to plant coconut. So there was a contradiction there. So how did the judge come to the conclusion? Because it was Wontumi's word against this man's word, and the judge actually admitted that there's no hard evidence to support either of the positions. And so what did the judge do? She used circumstantial evidence to come to the conclusion who is most probably telling the truth. Fascinating. My guests will weigh in on that point when we sit down. Then the Coconut Project profits were to be shared at the end of it when it matures. Indeed, you should read that document. It's a very fascinating piece of judgment. Then the NDC held a press conference today, obviously. We expected them to do so. And they say a few things that no evidence was presented on any charge. I mean, if you read the judgment, even Wontumi does not dispute some of the evidence. So when you say this, it's just not supported by the facts. One of the pieces of evidence that was produced, which is the basis of this, that the fact that the law is clear, you cannot, when they offer you a concession, it is exclusively to the leaseholder. It is exclusively, you cannot hand it over, you cannot transfer it to anybody. If you do so without authorization of the minister, you violated the law. Wontumi does not dispute the fact. In fact, in cross-examination, he admitted that is not in dispute, that he gave that right away to somebody else, a third party, to do the activities on that concession. He doesn't dispute. The only dispute is when he gave it away, what instructions he gave, what was his expectation, that it was for reclamation and not to mine, right? So that in itself was one that hasn't been disputed. Overturned judgment on appeal, they are confident that this will happen. Of course, the appeal is his right. He has to go, and the appeals court will decide that. But they raise a fundamentally solid point in the MPP, which is that there are many other NDC officials who have been accused of similar offenses.
Good morning show on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Winston Amoah. And this morning we've been joined by Emilia Ewenam Ankra, who is a Principal Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Safe Bond Car Terminal in Tema, and Daniel Kwame, Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. We're trying to understand, vehicle valuation and the clearing process. And folks, you could definitely join us, okay? Join us on WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. I see lots of your questions coming in. We'll address all those questions shortly. But you could also do a voice note. Maybe you're driving, okay? You could just park, do a voice note, send it to us by way of question, and we'll put them to Daniel and Emilia, who've joined us here this morning. But you've probably noticed the lights go off when you least expect it. Plans interrupted, businesses forced to pause, and homes left in the dark at inconvenient times. Well, Translight Solar is here to help you. With Translight Solar, you enjoy consistent, reliable power every single day. No interruptions, no surprises. Our smart solar solutions are designed to keep your lights on, your appliances running, and your operations moving while helping you cut down electricity costs. We're offering exclusive installation discounts starting at 34,000 Ghana cedis only with flexible payment options. Call 0242-438746 or 0256-040838 or visit translightsolar.com. Translight Solar, reliable power, total peace of mind. But if you're running a business, office, or working in the creative industry, listen, it's time to upgrade your print game. Welcome to the future of printing with Konica Minolta, proudly powered by SkySat Technologies. We're talking unmatched performance, so whether you need sleek all-in-one machines, professional systems, or heavy-duty production powerhouses, SkySat has got you covered. Right now, SkySat is giving you 1 entire year of free servicing on all Konica Minolta machines. That's 12 months of expert maintenance for new and existing customers. Get live demonstration at the new VIP Print Center at Pegasus Place, Airport Residential Area. Call 0501-645-180, 0501-645-180 or 0302-798-829. SkySat Technologies, performance that delivers every time. But planning for your future begins with the decisions you make today. So save and invest early with EDC to build wealth and retire comfortably. One clear sign of financial growth is when your money starts working for you through steady returns and long-term wealth creation. With EDC, you get professional fund management, flexible investment options, the potential for higher returns than ordinary savings, and financial security for retirement and future goals. Your financial independence is possible with EDC. Sign up today. For inquiries, call 0302 610 400 or WhatsApp 0509 268 414. Well, football fans, you know that the biggest football show on earth, that's the World Cup, just ended, and the Electronic is making sure that you enjoy it. So buy any 50-inch or bigger Samsung TCL and NASCO Smart TV, and you get a free DSTV decoder plus 1 month free subscription. Yes, free decoder, free subscription. And that's not all. Enjoy fantastic discounts and a free Zappa decoder to complete your home entertainment package. So whether you're backing the Black Stars, Brazil, Argentina, England, or your favorite team, make sure you're match day ready. Hurry to any Electroland showroom nationwide or your nearest authorized dealer today. Promo is valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply. Call 0503 159739 for details, or visit Electroland Ghana. Electroland Ghana, bring the World Cup home. Okay, so Daniel, before the break, I asked the classification. At what stage do you say, okay, this is 5%, 10%, or 20%? Help us understand when you look at the vehicle, when you classify the vehicle.
Okay, so this is what happens. When customs says vehicle type, we are asking in a layman understanding how the car looks like. Is it a saloon? Is it an art head? Is it a truck? Is it a bus? Is it a liftback? Is it station wagon? Is it a wagon? So when we say the vehicle type, this is what we are looking for. Now, the vehicle type plays a major role in getting to know the rate.
Okay.
For instance, if the vehicle type that you are bringing is a bus, automatically it's 5%.
The duty is 5%.
The rate, the duty rate.
Yeah, yes, the duty rate is 5%.
Yes. If the vehicle type is an art head or truck, it's 5%. So the vehicle type plays a role here. That is one.
Does truck include pickups?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Now, second, the cubic capacity, which is the CC. People call the engine on the street. People normally term it the engine size, not the cubic capacity. Usually we say, is your car 1.8, 1.0, 2.0, 1.5? That is CC. The CC also plays a major role in determining the rate. For instance, when we are bringing Toyota RAV4 and it is 2.4, the rate is 10%. But when we are bringing another car like a Toyota Highlander and in the CC 3.5, you move from 10% to 20%. Yes. So the cubic capacity plays a major role here.
Okay.
So one can bring...
What about a saloon? So for instance, if I...
So yeah, so the saloon also, when the saloon, the CC goes beyond 2.5 and it is diesel, it's 20%. But if it is petrol, it needs to move beyond 3.0 before you get the 20% column. But then if it is 3.0 below to 1.5, it is 10%. That is with petrol.
Okay.
So the fuel type also comes in here.
I'm just curious.
Yes.
So why does diesel cars attract higher this thing? If you know.
Yeah. So with the diesel, from 2.5 to above 2.5, the rate goes up because at the end of the day, to a large extent, the machines that burns diesel to a large extent are highly expensive. So if you realize our industries, most of them use diesel and not petrol.
Okay.
So the money involved in building these machineries to a large extent is more expensive than the machineries that are meant to burn fuel to some extent.
Okay, what if I bring, say, a very luxurious vehicle? But these days, we know that it's 1.8 turbo, 2.0 turbo. When it happens like that, what happens to it?
So it depends on what classifies a car as a luxurious vehicle. Like I said earlier, duty calculation is purely dependent on the MSRP or the HDV. But then other features come in to balloon the duty. So if the vehicle you are describing as luxurious is above 3.5 or it's above 3 and it is petrol, at the end of the day you are hitting within the 20% bracket. But if it's also luxurious and the rate or the CC falls below the 3.0, you are fortunate to fall within the 10% rate. But at the end of the day, the MSRP will determine the duty for a vehicle that you may call it a luxurious vehicle.
And also to add to it, if it is hybrid, it will call for 20%. And if it's electric too, it's 20%. So the fuel type also plays a major role in determining the duty rate.
I thought you were encouraging us to do more electric. But if it's electric and it goes for 20%, then why would we go electric? Anyway, we'll leave that one. We'll talk about that later. But let's get into other things, okay? And in getting into other things, what are some of the reasons for raising core? And you want to define the core, and then we get into it.
So when we say core, we are talking about customs offense report. So as I was saying earlier, when the declarant sent the BOE to, or the documentation to valuation, they value based on documentation. But on the field, we see the physical thing that happens. So let's say you, when you were submitting your documentation, you said your CC is for Toyota Corolla is 1.5. Based on it, they were given 10% as fuel type of petrol. But upon examination, our markets realized that maybe the fuel type is hybrid. So it's definitely going for 20%. So we are going to raise that customs offense report on the extra 10% for you. A body type can change. Maybe you describe it as a van, which is calling for 5%. But upon examination, we realize that it's a wagon. So based on the CC, it can either be 10% or 20%. Then we will raise core on it for you. It can also be that the body type, the CC, you describe lesser CC, but upon examination, we got higher CC.
Okay. There's something I've realized, and you know, because there was a time I was having a conversation about a vehicle that had been imported. Now, the vehicle says, oh, this is a Mitsubishi Outlander SE.
Okay.
But when the vehicle got into town, behind you saw limited edition.
Okay.
So customs says, no, but this is not what you said. And I said, well, and the conversation was, okay, the owner, the person who used it, okay, for packaging purposes, said it's a limited edition. But if you look at the vehicle, at the time as the vehicle was being auctioned, and the chassis number and everything says, this is SE. When it happens like that, how do you deal with it?
Okay, to a large extent, every detailed information we need to help us arrive at duty is taken from the chassis number.
Okay.
And we do not just limit the information we get from the chassis number from the chassis number given by the importer, but we look out for the body chassis. And when I say the body chassis, we're talking about where we mount a diagnostic machine on the vehicle and it brings out the original chassis number. Then we would code whatever it is that we get from the chassis number is what we work with. It could be that probably the boot got spoiled. He went to get different boot to be mounted on the vehicle. And that particular old or the new boot he got to fix on the car probably has that special feature written on it. So we will to a large extent dwell on the information given us from the chassis we get from the body the body chassis of the particular vehicle.
Okay. Now, tell me, how long does it take to clear your vehicle from the port?
So,
or how long must it take you to clear your vehicle from the port?
All things being equal, you can use 1 day to clear or less than a day to clear. But there are a lot of things that comes into play when we
So
talk
you should
of
have done all
clearance.
those things before the vehicle gets in.
Yes. Sometimes you come to clear, you realize that your chassis is wrong, which means you have to go to shipping line to do amendment, has to do the correction. And that correction, you have to get the original corrector from the country of exportation. And it takes days. So that one, definitely you will not go early.
Okay.
Let's say one person is clearing, he has one bill of entry with 100 cars. The markets have to go and check the cars one by one. So you can just imagine the amount of time they will spend in checking those cars. Because with vehicle, if you make mistake in one chassis, it means you are blocking somebody from bringing his chassis, because that mistaken chassis could be somebody's new chassis.
Great. So how many days do I have to clear a vehicle when it gets to the port?
So when a vehicle gets to port, you have up to 60 days. But from 7 days, it will start, from 7 days from discharge of vehicle, it will start accruing interest charge. And then by 60 days, it will be seized and then confiscated to to the state.
Okay, so if you're unable to clear it, then it is seized and
Yes.
confiscated to the state.
Yes.
Help us understand, the taxes and levies that are normally paid on imported vehicles.
So we have apart from customs, the import duty, that is for customs. We take other taxes for, like the VAT.
Okay,
We
but
have
before you
import-
continue, let me just do this. Okay, so the import duty, when you declare the 10, 5, or 20%, now do you add that to the, the cost and then begin to calculate the other taxes, or that is a standalone? You come back and so, for instance, if you say the cost of the vehicle is say 100,000, 10% duty 10,000. Would you then add the 10,000 to the 100,000 to make it 110,000 before you start charging VAT and the others?
No, we calculate our duties based on something we call CIF, cost, insurance, and freight. So we will use the FOB or the value you bought the goods or the vehicle from the country of exportation. Then we multiply it by the exchange rate to get the amount in Ghana cedi. Then we multiply it by the freight and the insurance before we come out with the CIF. So it's based on the CIF that we use to calculate the duty rate. So in this case, if the import duty is 5%, we are calculating the 5% on the CIF. So if we are going for VAT, that is 15%, we are calculating based on the CIF that we have derived.
Okay, so adding that to what Mom just said, when you are getting the duty, the vehicle can be either used or new. If it is new, then we are limiting the basis of duty calculation to the FOB, the freight, and the insurance. But if it is used, depending on the number of years that the vehicle has been used, we now depreciate the HDV before getting the CIF. So we depreciate that particular MSRP.
Okay, stay with me, Daniel. When we return after this message, we're going to be answering a lot of questions, but we'll also let you take us through the depreciation. Okay, so when it's between from new to 6 months, what rate of depreciation? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, more than 10 years, all of that. This morning we've been joined by Emilia Ewenam Ankra, Principal Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Safe Bond Car Terminal in Tema, and Daniel Kwame Ntem, Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. We're having a conversation about vehicle valuation and clearance. We'll be right back.
Morning Show. Who this government has simply gone to bed on or have decided to exercise selective amnesia. They've forgotten. And he's right. The MPP is right. And that is why we need to call out the NDC too. Because there are a few of their top officials that they themselves referred to Iyoko. And the last time the Attorney General was before the public and meeting the press, and he was asked, he gave us a very flimsy excuse. He didn't know what has happened. And in fact, nobody has updated us. This is the Attorney General who addresses the media regularly on other matters when it has to do with the opposition party. But in none of his other press conferences has he himself come with an update on these cases involving his own colleagues in the party who have been accused of involvement in illegal mining and have been referred to Yoko by himself. So we need to call that out. And the MPP is right to mention that point. And then the judge ignored judicial procedures. Okay, we'll ask my guests if they agree. And Wontumi, they say, is a political prisoner. And that is a big one. We'll start by asking our guests if they agree that the evidence as we've seen bears us out that the man is a political prisoner. So if you like, another thing about this whole case that is interesting again is, this law that has caught Wontumi was a law that Akufo-Addo and his government framed. They amended. Wontumi would not have gone in for 20 years. He would have possibly had 3 years imprisonment, cool, or possibly 2 years, because that would have been the maximum. But Akufo-Addo, when he came into power in 2017, said he was hanging his political career on the line to deal with illegal money. To show us that he meant business, he did one thing. He amended the law to make it stiff in terms of the penalty. So they introduced 15 to 20 years if you breach that law. So until Akufo-Addo came, Wontumi was simply going to get a maximum of 3 years. And then they changed it. And then they said, well, look, we are fighting Ghana, I'm saying. We don't want people involved. We want to make sure that when you feel you're going to go in for 25 years, it will deter you. So Wontumi is caught in the web of a law that was amended by a government that he himself, the party that formed a government that he was a part of, was the Ashanti Regional Chairman of. He wants to lead as a chairman. The irony is in all. And then we know of the others who have other political elements who have been mentioned. These two are the ones I'm mentioning that we need to call the NDC out on. Because you have Joseph Yamin, national organizer, NDC, and you have the Yakubu Alhassan, third national vice chairman of the NDC. Both of them have been referred to Yoko. We haven't heard anything. Nobody's updating. And for an attorney general, I repeat, who holds press conferences regularly to update us, it is simply not acceptable that these two we haven't had an update on. And there are many more that you can find. Some of them you can find in the Frimpong Boateng report. You can also find some in the MPP's own press conference. They've mentioned a few of them too, who they say, you cannot, and I agree with them on that one, you cannot do selective prosecutions on a matter such as illegal mining. You can't. And then you have other cases that Wontumi is involved in. Wontumi's ordeal and predicament is far from over from these 20 years. Because there's also Tano Nimri Forest Reserve that he's been tried on. He's facing a trial on that one too. And then there's the Exim Bank fraud case. So Wontumi is, the 20 years, he's not, if these also go to the full length and he fails to win, Wontumi probably going to do it. The next time you see Wontumi out is possibly if he's pardoned, because he has these two cases that he still has to deal with. And he recently declared that he is running to be MPP's national chairman. Big question tonight. Can a convicted criminal run in a new patriotic party in any of his leadership positions? For any of his, can a convicted criminal do so? We'll ask them to clarify for us if this allows him to run. And this is a very important one. So that's him tonight, sleeping behind bars somewhere in a prison in the Republic of Ghana. We wait to see when the appeal will be filed.
Okay, so Evans, straight to the law. It is part of the law that if, as a person, you facilitate or permit another person, help that person to undertake illegal mining, then ipso facto, you the helper, you the facilitator, etc., you are guilty of illegal mining. Yes, so that's a straight answer. Let's see if we can read the law as I talk further. So it means that if we didn't make the law that wide, then it means that any person can get up and then always use other people and not get this and punished for it. Yes, that would be making a fool of the law. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You see, when you say that part, the first place, the key thing is, as the mind, the person that's Wontumi is the one that has been given the authority, right? Sorry, Akunta Mining, and Wontumi is a directing mind of the company, right? So if you give out the concession and you are not monitoring, and the person is mining, you gave it out. Remember that, Evans, giving it out was contrary to the rules. You don't give out without the permission of the minister. So he's already committed a crime by allowing Henry to be there without supervision.
And he admits that. And that point, Wontumi admits that he did so without authorization.
Excellent. So he nailed himself. He nailed himself. So that afterthought statement that, but he didn't put it in writing, so it is not authorization. It's farcical. Evans, ask every lawyer from year 2 generally of legal training. There's this popular saying in property law class that an agreement for a lease, an agreement, so orally, is as good as a written one. So if you make an agreement orally, Henry, take this concession, do whatever you want to do, it's binding. You cannot later say, but I didn't write it down.
Very much for staying with us. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. If you just joined us this morning, our friends from the Ghana Revenue Authority have joined us for a conversation about vehicle valuation and clearance. And look, time to read all those messages that you've sent to get answers to all of these questions. But before we do that, Ghana's digital economy is expanding rapidly, creating new opportunities for businesses, consumers, and financial inclusion. But sustaining that progress will require stronger security, greater collaboration, and renewed public confidence. So on Wednesday, that's tomorrow, 22nd July, Joy News and Joy FM will bring together leading voices from banking, fintech, cybersecurity, and economic policy for the maiden edition of the Digital Economy Forum under the theme, The Trust Crisis, Why Fraud is Holding Back Ghana's Digital Economy. The forum will explore how Ghana can stay ahead of digital fraud, protect consumers, and build a safer, more trusted digital economy. Join us at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media platforms. The Digital Economy Forum is brought to you in partnership with Haptel. Technologies driving Ghana's digital future. Trust would help it thrive. So what if someone lent you money, and instead of charging interest, demanded a pound of your flesh if you couldn't repay? Well, that's the thrilling premise of Guyana's Pound of Flesh, Africa's first original adaptation of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. So this August experienced George Quay's hilarious and thought-provoking production at the National Theatre on the 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th of August, with shows at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tickets are going for 200 cedis at imagebureaugh.com or by dialing 71446 hash. For inquiries, call 0551 313134. Don't miss this unforgettable theatrical experience. But look, Electroland wants you to know that the soccer promotion is officially on with massive discounts, amazing freebies, and big winning opportunities. So, you could get stunning smart TVs from Samsung, TCL, and NASCO starting from 699 Ghana cedis only. And that's not all. Upgrade your home with incredible deals on air conditioners, air coolers, refrigerators, chest freezers, washing machines, microwaves, air fryers, blenders, and more from trusted brands like Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO. Plus, every purchase gives you the chance to enter the exciting Achedia Kese raffle. For even bigger rewards, visit all Electroland Ghana showrooms nationwide and authorized dealer shops across Ghana today. Call 0503 159 739 or 0502 989 894. Visit electrolandgh.com. Electroland Ghana, bringing the stadium home. Okay, so before we get into, Daniel, I had a question for you. Yes, you want to answer that?
Exactly.
Then we bring you some of our voice notes. Yeah.
Okay, so I was trying to explain to our understanding you asked as to whether how the VAT is calculated.
Mm-hmm.
So I was explaining that with the duty, it is gotten from the CIF. That depending on the Incoterm you are using at the CIF, the duty is gotten calculated based on the CIF. But then with the VAT, you use the CIF plus the import duty.
Exactly.
So the VAT will be gotten from the combination of the import duty and then the CIF. That's when you are whatever that. And not
So-
only
so-
that one,
so-
even
so
with
in
the
effect,
with
in
the
cal-
with the
in-
with the
in effect,
EXIM,
Danny,
and then
hold on.
also
In
the
effect, in
national.
calculating the VAT, so the CIF plus the duty.
Yes.
So if the CIF is 100,000
Mhm.
and the duty is 10%, so that's 10,000. So the VAT then will be calculated on 110,000.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So that is what I wanted to explain to you. You
Good.
understanding?
Now let's listen to some of the questions that have come through voice notes. I have a lot of them on WhatsApp also. Let's listen.
Yeah, please. I want to understand why customs doesn't use the value that we purchase cars from US or any other countries. If we buy a car $5,000, they don't respect the receipt. They don't respect the receipt, and it's a big problem. Because I don't see why I should buy something you say you don't trust the invoice. So you use your brand new price, do depreciation, and then you arrive at the figure for us. I think it is unfair because in Ghana, when you do auction is respected here. Why don't you respect auctions from other countries? If I buy a car $1,500, $2,000, then now you come and give me an accident car that I'm buying to come and fix. Now you want to assume that it's a brand new car and you do your depreciation. I think it is not right. Please look at this.
Good morning, Mr. Winston. This is Mina in Rome. Please, I want to find out from your panelists, why is it that you not bring in cars that are more than 10 years? Because you may have a car which is in good shape and then it is more than 10 years. And you hear my people telling us that and when it is more than 10 years, you cannot bring it home. I need a clarification on that. Thank you.
Okay. Let's start from the last one, where it's more than 10 years where you have to pay a penalty. She wants to understand why you cannot bring it home.
Okay, so it is a policy that the government of Ghana bring it to bear just to discourage bringing in overaged vehicle. We all know to a large extent that the challenges overaged vehicles bring to our environment. There is this chemical called the chlorofluorocarbon that's always emitted out of the fumes that used cars or overaged car emit, and this depletes the ozone layer. In a way that the government wants to reduce the depletion of the ozone layer, these penalties are brought to bear to discourage it. The government didn't say don't bring overaged vehicles at all. No. You can bring them, but be mindful that you are going to be penalized for bringing overage penalty. So the more the years, the higher the overage penalty that you pay.
Okay. Now, this person says, if you're buying, why is it that he's bought a car at this value? Then you now decide that, okay, this is the value. I'm assuming this is new. And before the break, I also asked that question. So at what point do you say, do you do the depreciation by, say, 50%, 10%? Help us understand. Break that down for us. Because he wants to understand. Why are you doing that? When you buy auction vehicles in Ghana, you buy it and you move. So why is it that if he buys it from somewhere, then you want to now take it as a brand new car and then begin to depreciate it when he probably bought it for less?
So with customs, we are so keen on being fair. Mm-hmm. You can go to one auction and go and get your car 5,000.
That's based on my negotiation
Somebody
skills
also go to another auction and go and get car 10,000.
I should be lucky, shouldn't I? I'm lucky I got it.
And when we do that, are we being fair? We are not being fair. That is
Fairness
why
only preached in church.
That is why we have the ADV or the MSRP. Mm-hmm. Then based on that, we use it to depreciate the cars. So the cars with the depreciation, when the car is not up to 6 months, we don't depreciate it at all. And from 6 months to 1.5 years, we depreciate it by 15%. Then from 1.5 to 2.5 years, we depreciate it by 30%. Then from 2.5 to 5 years, we depreciate it by 40%. And then from 5 years and above, we depreciate it by 50%.
And when it's past 10 years?
That's when the overage comes in. The depreciation still stands with 50%.
Okay. Now, first of all, you are invited. Someone says you are invited to Guyana's Pound of Flesh by George Korea at the National Theatre, 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th of August. Okay. It's only 200 Ghana cedis, so you are invited. But the question says, I'm confused a bit, and I'm confused and a bit shocked. Yes, we've always known that duty on vehicles is determined by the make, year, type of vehicle, fuel type, and so on, as stated by your resource persons. But I thought these determinations were actually informed by factors such as the weight of the vehicle, which has a direct effect on road lifespan, the fuel type, which has a direct effect on the environment, the age of the vehicle, which affects safety and roadworthiness, and the type of vehicle, which can affect traffic, and among other things. I've been listening, hoping to hear some of these factors as justifications for the percentage cost I'm hearing. From what they are saying, it almost looks like they just look at the vehicle and slap percentages on it without any backing. That's shocking. And you were spot on with the electric car point. That has a direct effect on the environment. Or is it that they are not explaining things well, or I'm not the one following?
Okay, so in fact, what we're doing here, we need a lot of time to explain and go into details. So to a large extent, we are not going to detailing. I mean, we are not giving much details. But if my listener was with us from the beginning, he would have heard us mentioning areas where we consider in duty calculation. Now, in customs valuation, there's something we call ad valorem. Ad valorem duty means that you are looking at the value of the commodity to arrive at the duty. There are other commodities that we apply specific duty. With a specific duty, we are looking at the weight of the commodity. We are looking at the size. Like, I mean, if we are bringing chicken, we are looking at the weight. If we are bringing used clothing, we are looking at the weight. But with vehicle is ad valorem, which is the value of the vehicle. So with he saying we are looking, he is expecting to hear the weight of a vehicle as a determining factor for a duty. I'm sorry, no. But then I've already mentioned that when the chassis number is decoded, the features that the vehicle brings on board, including the MSRP, becomes the basis for duty calculation. If it is used, depreciation applies. If it is overage, penalty applies. If it is new, none of this comes to play except the FOB, the freight, and the insurance. So you should get it clear from us that these are the areas we look out for in duty calculation.
Okay. Now, this one says, good morning, Winston and team. Thanks for the great job being done always. Please ask GRA officers who regulates the following charges by the clearing agents, because one finds it difficult to know if their charges are appropriate and legitimate. Container fees, clearance fees, valuation fees. And that's from Robert on the Spinters Road. Yes.
Okay, so whatever customs charge is verifiable. In fact, customs duty is even paid by an importer. But there are other expenses that the agent does, the clearing agent does, and they are being regulated. They have organizations, they have groups, and they have regulators. They have people who are in charge of them. So if you want to understand, there are other costs that comes into play. Maybe you can contact their bosses or those who are in charge of. The example of their listing is Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. So when you contact their leaders, maybe they will explain to you why they charge certain things. But whatever customs charge, it's verifiable.
Okay. I know that...
Can I just say something before we continue? I think someone asked why we do not use how much he buys the car. But then we depend so much on the MSRP. Yes. You and I cannot, to a large extent, ascertain the rate at which a car has been used. You've gone to buy a used car. You want her to use the price at which you bought it. At what rate had the car been used? To influence the depreciation or the reduction of the money that you used in buying. So for fairness sake, we go to the MSRP, depreciate it by policy, and then we have fairness. And we do not come, no one comes to tell me that, to tell customs, I bought my car 2 cedis, you bought your car 50 Ghana cedis, then there is that kind of unfairness.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we resort to using the MSRP.
But quick one, because a lot of questions now on the hybrid and electric vehicles. The understanding of the world going green is that we use electric vehicles. So why is it that if I get an electric vehicle, the duty is 20%, something that protects the environment? Why?
Okay, so once again, this is a policy that has been established. But then one thing we should always bear in mind is if you have a hybrid rate for original ECOWAS common external tariff, we didn't have this in existence for 2015, 2016. There were no EVs, so the ECOWAS rate was maintained. So government will now look at the fact that we are trying to encourage this green environment we are trying to push. If the policymaker sits to realize that, no, this is the idea we want to push, then again, ECOWAS will sit, then they will really look at the rate. Because it is ideal that once we are all encouraging the environment to be less polluted, then I think electric and hybrid should be the way. But then the policymakers must also come again, sit down and really look at it so that the rate can be tackled. And then also another area of concern too is dealing with the EV batteries is very, very expensive. You cannot just use an EV battery and just dispose it off.
Okay.
There are plans that the nation needs to have in place in order to deal with the EV batteries. It's not just like ordinary battery that after using the EV vehicle, you just dispose it off. So all these factors come to play, probably to inform the rate for which it is about 20%. So it is not necessarily just because it is an EV we are asked to pay 20%. But it is ECOWAS and then also the probability of us being able to handle the disposal of the EV batteries.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, this is all time would allow us, but I think we have to do it next week. So you have to come back next week, okay? We will do the necessary contacts and make sure that you come back next week to address more of these questions. Thank you very much, Emilia Ewanam Ankra, Principal Revenue Officer, GRA Safe Bond Car Terminal in Tema, and Daniel Kwame Tem, Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Technical Services Bureau, Vehicle Valuation Unit. Still live here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We're right back after these.
Problem there, better call Jesus. I'm only big man, not a ball on me. I watch your face, I seen the hope and it dawned on me. Everything could have been lovely, but I'm just another guy, I'm just another guy. Obsessed to my morals, concerned to my liberty. Options overflow, I'm not gonna lie, there's a change in my energy. Rain, I never go down. If I step down, toes my apologies. Everything could have been lovely, but I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another money I want. Give me day one, get your crypto, dollar city safer. Call me, let's talk, and I'll go see you later. Lucky champion, they no fit to bring down. Down with them now, I'm in the final boss. 1,000 bullets to my body on form. Samurai swings, what a situation. But when the money long, you know fit to take them with the party day long. Obsessed to my moral, concerned for my liberty. Options overflow, I'm not gonna lie, there's a change in my energy. Rain, I never go down. If I step down, toes my apology. Everything would have been lovely. Just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. another girl. If I call you and tell me, just sacrifice it all. I'm just another girl, just another girl.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM. Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
So me won't let me jigga on a tree. Girl, you find out past your picture. Oh Lord, go give me a banana. Include no Mona Lisa for my peace. I did see you for my future. Here I be, no God things I go locate. Baby today, my mama wants your share. Give you my signature. Put on for your body, check. Now me say yeah, my mama wants your share. Give you my signature. Put on for your body, check. Hey, oh, see me.
Live here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. This one by what? Kiddy and Last Meet. You always see me. Okay. That's not a bad one. These days, the young ones, they're doing some great songs. Okay. Yeah.
How that makes you sound?
No, but the young ones, they're doing great songs. Lots of messages, Now, I'll share some of them. We expect GRA to come back next week to address all of this. One says, your guest explained the classification process satisfactorily. The valuation process remains a black box. Skipped that entirely. But as global alliances shift and countries increasingly prioritize their national interest, what do these changes mean for Ghana and Africa? Join us at the CDD Ghana's 21st Krontini Akwemu Public Lecture on Wednesday, 29th July 2026 at the British Council Auditorium in Accra for a night of insightful discussions on the theme, the changing global and multilateral rules-based order. Implications for Ghana and Africa's strategic positioning. The speaker for this year's lecture is the distinguished Ghanaian diplomat, Her Excellency Hannah Tete, with Ambassador D.K. Osei as chairman for the occasion. The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, will be in attendance as the special guest of honor, and the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, will also grace the occasion. Attendance is free and open to the public. No registration is required. See you on Wednesday, 29th July 2026 at 5:30 p.m. at the British Council Auditorium, Accra. Don't miss out. But sometimes the big moments start with small things, a call to a loved one, a Momo transaction to support family, and a bundle to grow your business. But what if they could lead to something bigger than you ever imagined? With the MTN at 30 promo, every call, every text, every browse, and every Momo transaction, every connection to home fiber, and every activity on my MTN app earns you points towards amazing rewards, including 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, over 10 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes, and unforgettable experiences just for you. Because every move counts, dial *530# or use my MTN app to participate now, and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN at 30 promo, make every move count. Terms and conditions apply. Now, you're cordially invited to the official launch of the Gamancha Tennis Open 2026, held under the auspices of His Royal Majesty the Gamanche Ni Taki Teku Churu II. This landmark tournament celebrates sporting excellence, youth development, tourism, and community unity through the game of tennis, and will bring together government officials, the diplomatic community, corporate sector, and traditional leaders, the sporting fraternity, and the media. It's on the 23rd of July, that's Thursday, 2026. Time 4 p.m. Venue, the Gamanche Palace, North Kanishi. It's in collaboration with the Ghana Tennis Federation, National Sports Authority, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, and the Ghana Tourism Authority. The Gamanche Tennis Open 2026 is in partnership with Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime, Joy News, Asempa FM, Adum FM, and Adum TV. For inquiries, call 0244 446894 and then 0243 222 058. Info at gnet at genetservices.net. Join us as we officially launch a premier sporting event that will strengthen sports diplomacy, promote tourism, and position Ghana as a destination for international tennis. Time now to do more of your messages here on the Super Morning Show.
Just before the messages come through, let me tell you about something happening on the 27th of July 2026 at one of my favorite venues, Alliance Francaise, right? So at 7 p.m., there's going to be a great film showing there. It's a film by Akosia Asamoah Ampofo, and it's called We Won't Let You Poison Us. Any guesses what that's about?
Galamsey?
No doubt. It's a wonderful film that has been selected for the Accra Indie Film Fest 2026. And it's showing at Alliance Francaise on the 27th of July 2026. Go check this film out. It's a brilliant production. Also, speaking of brilliant productions, George Quay is at it again with a brand new play at the National Theatre. And you need to get yourself some tickets to go check out the latest. It's an adaptation of William Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, and it is called Guyana's Pound of Flesh. I like this, the adaptations of Shakespeare plays into Ghanaian cultural productions. They look good, and they make us relate to some of the most wonderful and poignant works of art done by some of our greatest writers, particularly William Shakespeare.
You're right, and the good thing about this for me is that George Quay has decided to write and publish it also. So, this is how you develop. You just don't stage a play. And I've always insisted that when you stage the play, then you write it. So when you write it, we'll come and critique it. Those of us...
I was a critique.
You see, the critique is good because when you critique it, you also would learn from it. And we'll tell you what is good about it, what could have been better. It's not what is wrong, what could be better. Okay. And so, for instance, there's work, I've forgotten this work, but we did the foregrounding of imagery. We said if you go through the work, it actually paints a particular picture in your mind, and that picture is actually the theme of the work. So you hear you read words that will give you a certain picture, a picture of disappointment. And this is a book that talks about disappointment. You see, so it's good that George Quay is writing it, and it would also could be used as a textbook in our secondary schools.
It's true. I mean, let's be fair. Not every play is a work of literature. Not every play is a literary work. Some plays are simply to be enjoyed as performances.
Yeah.
But I agree that it gives another dimension when you take the pains to write it so that it can also be enjoyed as a work of literature. So why not?
So time now for a lot of your messages. Now, Kwame says, I had an IDF to import used vehicles. Customs value the vehicles at a lower rate than the IDF amount based on the age of the vehicles. When I submitted the documents to my bank, they said the value was lower than the amount transferred, and I have not been able to transfer money from that bank again. What should I do to have the bank understand that customs does not necessarily use the amount paid for a used vehicle to value it? Okay, this one says, thank you for the insightful discussion. I have a question regarding vehicle clearance and the protection of innocent buyers. There have been cases where a dealer imports a stolen vehicle into Ghana, pays the required import duties and taxes to customs, and is issued clearance to take the vehicle out of the port. The dealer then sells the vehicle to an innocent buyer. Years later, the innocent buyer is stopped while using the vehicle, and customs confiscates it on grounds that appropriate duties were allegedly not paid at the time of import. My question is, if customs accepted the duty payment and officially cleared the vehicle from the port in the first place, Why should an innocent buyer suffer the loss of the vehicle because of an issue that should have been detected or resolved during the clearance process? Shouldn't the responsibility lie with the importer or with the authorities that processed the clearance rather than the buyer who purchased the vehicle in good faith? What measures is Custard putting in place to prevent such situations? Kish Anderson Amoah, when they join us next week, we'll put this to them. Justice says taxes on vehicles are just crazy. A number of VATs that you won't understand how they are calculated. Why? The levies too are too much. Okay, we'll get into all of this next week when they join us. But if you're looking to upgrade your workspace or restock your essentials, Kingdom Books has something special just for you. Come through and enjoy unbeatable deals on all your stationery needs, from notebooks, pens, and printers to school and office supplies. So whether you're a student, teacher, or business owner, they've got everything to keep you organized and productive. But that's not all. Their big discounts, up to 70%. So bring a friend, tell a friend, don't miss out on these amazing offers at the Kingdom Books Yard Sales. The venue is at the Kingdom Books office in Osu from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Kingdom Books Yard Sales. Shop smart, save big. For inquiries, call 0501 401050 or 0244 311 955.
Shall we, before we bow out, say another special happy birthday to our fearless leader, Chief Ken Ansah,
Oh, yes.
Multimedia Group. Such a... what was that? His favorite song? Oh, okay.
Oh, which song is that? Oh, Charlie, but no.
We have to go into the archives for that one.
What is this? There was this. I remember there was a day Ken came here and asked that we play. I think he likes Addis. I think it's Addis Ababa or One Stone. I think it's Addis Ababa.
Okay. Well, then he and I share similar tastes. Yes. I love Addis Ababa as well. So shall we drop that for Chief Ken on his special day?
Let's do. And as we do that, let's say thank you so much for joining us this morning here on the Super Morning Show. Catch you tomorrow. My name is Winston Amoah.
And my name is Kojo Yankson. Stay safe.
It's the most